If we're live, we're experiencing some technical difficulties.
We're not live, though.
Oh, starting stream?
Yep.
Now what do we do?
Right.
You are live. It says we're live.
The internet can totally see you now.
Just stop recording.
There we go. Okay, now we need...
All right.
We need this, whatever this is.
No, it's on.
Okay, no, that's my live dashboard.
Oh.
Right? It's still not this event.
Right.
Right? That's what we want.
Right.
So we need to let everyone know they should be following us here.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, we can do that in chat, right?
I'm going to try. I found my thing.
I just thumbs up. I mean to do that.
Well, even if you did in the chat, who's there to know that it's happening?
There's 2 people waiting.
Right, so put it in the old chat, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, and I will send this off. Live streaming now.
Go to default channel to watch. I don't even know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's Clifford Parmiter's channel or Clifford Parmiter's live stream.
Oh yeah. Go to. Oh jeez, I'm logged in as Kermit's Game Store.
It's All Star, man, All Star.
Cool. So that's weird that we got this working, but we can't get the view upcoming live control room because another video has already been selected. Oh wait.
Please do it. Just please, just whatever that is, make that work.
Oh, maybe that's to select another. Bear with us while we muddle through this first.
Did anyone
session.
join us yet? I don't think so.
I don't think. Well, I'm not on that. I'm not on that page, so I'd have to.
Now I've got to send.
All right. So let's. All right. So let's do this. All right. So I'm gonna end the stream.
Nope. Do not.
No?
Do not end this stream.
No?
No. I'm pointing people to this. They can join us.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. I am I'm trying to tell everyone I can about it. And see who we can round up for the evening. Especially Henry, since he said, now I can watch you, because I've been watching all of his videos.
Oh, here we go. Look at this. I could. Oh wait, shit. That's another. Oh, I swore already. Look at that. That's the first one to swear.
Because no one's watching.
That's true.
So we're okay.
Oh wait, no. 2 people are watching now.
Okay, but they don't know who we are.
All right, here we go.
Or they do. Hi. Maybe we can have some live chat now.
That'll work. Now that we got the bugs worked out.
Yes.
So let me see if I can go to. Can I go to the chat here? Oh, wow. This machine's going really slow. All right.
That's okay.
You want to start?
Sure.
All right. Hello and welcome to Read.Watch.Play.
Woo!
We'll be wooing and booing later, but
Right on.
before that...
leave me hanging.
Well, did I leave you hanging? I didn't even see it. I'm
There
trying
we
to
go.
read the script over here.
Okay.
We are coming to you live from Kerwin's Game Store Stream Studio in Catskill, New York. This is the show at the corner of Superhero Street and Tabletop Gaming.
Sure.
Did you like that line? You didn't like that, did you? You didn't change it either.
I listen, it was a long day. I'm at work. I'm trying to be so psyched to be here. And I'm
Very psyched. We literally threw this show together today.
Yes. Like this
And-
afternoon, I'm like messaging him. I'm in the middle of like, what's the answer to question 15 in your textbook? We're doing this tonight. We're going to do it. This is what I want.
This is exciting. I've been wanting to do a show on the KGS network for a little while now. And Cliff started, you just started doing like little comic book reviews and stuff, right?
Yes.
Like today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine will be up tonight, actually.
It's very exciting. And so I saw him post a preview of that for tonight, and I just got like crazy excited. I was like, oh, this is the greatest idea. Let's do a show together. We can talk about comics. We can talk about superhero movies and TV. We can talk about Heroclix, throw it all together.
We can spend 45 minutes coming up with a name for our show.
Pretty much. The name of the show did go through several iterations, but as you can see right here, geez, I got to do the weatherman thing.
Read, watch, play.
Read, watch, play. So again, I'm Tony Cox, by the way, as you can see from up here, and this is Cliff Parmenter.
Thank you.
And
We're your host on this spectacular journey.
yeah. So how are you today?
I'm doing
You said it was a
well.
busy day.
It was. It was really busy, but at least with all the busyness of students, I was able to poll constantly on their thoughts for the name of our show.
So you asked all of them in the...
Oh, like in the hallway. Like I was, like we were in between classes when I was last messaging you, and it was like their 10-minute break, and like in the hallway, I'm like grabbing the nursing students and asking them, "What do you think? Read, watch, play? What about this other? No, scrap the other thing. It's gonna be confusing. Read, watch, play. Do you like it? Yes, it sounds good." That was it. So great.
Yeah, I like the name of it. So, and because we can be a little bit broad, we can talk about different things we read, different things we watch, and different things we play. So.
Absolutely.
So this being our first episode, we'll give you a little bit of a rundown of what we'd like to do as a typical show. First, we'll talk about comic books in the What Did We Read section, hence the read part of Read, Watch, Play.
Thank you very much.
Then we will be rating what we read and what got us excited with a
Woo!
woo! And then, if something didn't quite excite us, we will be boo. So we will be wooing and booing all of the stuff that we review on the show.
I know. I'm a little disappointed. It's mostly a woo week for me.
It's mostly a woo week.
It's pretty full of woo this week.
Well, it's been a good. We'll get to that later, though. Well, it's okay. We'll go back and talk about some of the CW series finales.
Oh, I have one boo.
That's
I have
fine.
one
That's
boo.
what- We'll save it for this segment. So the second segment is the watch segment, and what did we watch? So we'll talk about superhero movies, superhero television shows, web shorts. I'm interested in watching the Ninjask short series. Have you heard about this?
No.
From oh my gosh, I forget the comic company that does Exo Man of War.
Oh, you mean Ninjak from
Ninjak? I'm sorry, Ninjak.
Yeah, from Valiant Comics, of course.
Valiant, yes. From
Love you,
Comics.
Valiant.
They're also doing, and I believe they're doing an Exo Man of War movie.
I
That's
think
going to
that's the goal,
tie in.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw some stills
Yeah.
from the actual set. I think they're filming it right now. But so we'll talk about that maybe in a future episode.
That's a very good independent comic company.
Yeah,
I find them really, really working hard to just tell a good story and get it out there.
I read the first issue of Faith.
Faith is very good. I think Adam's trying to reach us.
Adam?
Yeah.
No, he's just posting in the.
Never mind. We already know what that's about. Never mind.
Now that we're occupied, he's going and posting.
Yeah,
for
of
people,
course.
so.
We'll be back on that.
Yes. So in In the second segment, what did we watch? We'll woo and boo and give our thoughts on movies. Spoiler alert, today we're talking about Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Hot on her armored heels.
Yes, if you haven't seen it yet, we're definitely going to have to, at that moment, it's going to be like... We are
a spoiler-filled show, so... just a little warning right there. In the future, we will have a spoiler warning. I ran out of time. I didn't make it.
Spoiler splash.
Spoiler splash. Yes, we'll have a spoiler splash across the across
bottom
here. So
usually me, because I'm the one who's going to be like, and then she did this.
So in our third and final segment, well, not our final segment, but in our third segment, what did we play? We're going to talk about Heroclix, mostly, but we may talk about other superhero-related board games or card games,
absolutely,
or video games, even if we decide to do that, and not just superheroes too. We're going to do geeky stuff too. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm a big Transformers fan,
and I admire those things. Actually, I'm really opinionated about Star Wars, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah, I mean about the movies though, because like I never got into the other stuff. But when it comes to the actual movies, I'm just like.
Oh, I obviously watch the movies. Everybody watches the movies.
Rebels and Clone Wars.
I watch Rebels. I watched all of Clone Wars.
I feel like a special Star Wars fan because I'm not into all those books and everything.
Yeah.
But I like the shows.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Star Wars fans who are obsessed with the novelizations. Yeah. And they're like, oh, you like Clone Wars? you like Rebels? And I'm like, yeah, Zahn is amazing on Rebels.
Oh,
and if
my
you
God,
love him,
Rebels is amazing.
I'm like, you need to be watching that
so
show.
Good.
I'm gonna cry when it ends.
Oh, it's going into the fourth and final season.
I know. I'm gonna be devastated.
And the rumor is that because if you saw Rogue One, you saw some spoilers.
Yes.
Oh, not some spoilers, but you saw some cameos.
Nice,
some little nods to the show Chopper, I think, who's my favorite droid ever. I'll have to I have a Chopper pop figure. I only own 2 pop figures.
I do love me some Chopper, but in my heart, I mean, I love R2 so much, and BB-8 is adorable. But I mean, like, if they were all about to drown, I mean, I'd have to save R2.
You have to save R2?
Yeah, I mean, actually, you know what's so great?
You know what?
You know what's so great about it? I wouldn't have to. I'd end up saving one of the other 2 because R2 always knows how to save himself.
You stole my line. I was going to say that about Chopper.
Oh, that would be so great. And then BB-8 will be like, I'm just a ball. Save me. It'll be so great.
I mean, if you're just going by those 3, sure. But if you throw in C-3PO...
No one's saving him. No one's saving him.
Nope.
If he's the only one drowning, I'll save him. He is useful with the multi-languages, and I am amused by him.
He's so prissy, though.
Right, I'm amused by the prissiness.
Yeah.
But yeah, if all 3 of them are drowning, I'll be like, oh no! C-3PO, I can't. My hands are full. I don't know what to do.
Oh, that's horrible. So anyway, we should do like a Star Wars special or something at some point. Or when the new show...
Christmas.
Yeah, we'll do it when Episode 8 comes out.
Or when the new show starts.
They also do Star Wars Day in September, I think.
No, Star Wars Day is May.
Well, no, that's May the 4th.
That's May the 4th.
I think they also do another day in September, though, and they release the toys for the upcoming movie.
Is that... No, the
I think it's
anniversary, even the anniversary of the movie isn't that.
Is in May. Yeah, that's in May.
So...
but anyway, we'll maybe do a special Star Wars episode and round up all that stuff. Or I picked
if they like us. If they really like us.
If they like us, yeah. I picked up Darth Vader #1 that just released last week.
A new Darth Vader #1?
Yeah. And it's...
I love
haven't
the last
read it
series.
yet, but yeah. This one apparently starts immediately at the end of episode 3.
Okay.
When he gets the mask, everything, and he goes, no! And it apparently like retcons that whole scene and makes it more bearable. So I'm excited to read that. You'll probably hear my thoughts next week. Okay. But anyway, and the third segment will be what did we play? We'll play. We'll talk about some Heroclix and stuff, and then hopefully we'll have some viewer interactions with you guys in the live chat. You can send us some emails. You can hit us up on Twitter.
You can say something.
Yeah, anything. We've got some. We solicited some questions earlier today, so we've got some listener questions. We'll give some feedback to after that. What did they call it at the end of comics when like readers would send in their letters?
The letters page.
The mailbag or whatever.
Well, no, because then they each got a unique name. Like Superman got Metropolis mailbag.
Oh, right.
Right,
okay.
Wonder Words at Wonder Woman.
We should do like the Catskill copy or something.
We have a very broad audience.
You're not impressed with that, are you?
No.
No, but we're broadcasting from Catskill.
What's beautiful?
All of our superheroes live in Catskill. I live in Catskill.
I don't live in Catskill. That's what I'm saying.
I own a
That's
cape.
like crazy.
I own a cape and I live in Catskill.
I own a cape, but I don't live here.
Okay.
You know?
So...
It's going to be more than that. We're going to be inclusive. Hudson Valley Heroes, baby.
Right. Well,
Hudson Valley Heroes.
Hudson Valley Heroes. That's cool. If we ever get a vigilante group going.
It'll be so great. I'm going to be Power Mace.
I have an idea for Kick-Ass 3. Hudson Valley Heroes. So.
Yes.
So let's move on to our first segment, which will be what did we read? So Cliff, take it away. What did you read this week that you're excited about?
I read so many things, but I'm really excited about the latest issues of Titans, which is available today, but also the Titans Annual. So I'm going to start with the Titans Annual, and so for those of you very unfamiliar with the Justice League villains, they have a villain called the Key, and he makes very interesting traps or imprisonments, right? So he has trapped these members that you see here on the cover of the Titans and the Justice League, the proteges and the mentors. He has trapped them, and they don't really quite know who they are.
Like memory loss?
Like memory loss. I don't know who you are. You say you're this Wally West person, but I'm Batman.
They're in their suits.
They're in their suits. So Wonder Woman is immediately questioning, I don't know who you are. I can't stand this. I don't know what's going on. And Donna Troy is like, Diana, it's me. I'm Donna Troy. Like, how do you not know? And she's like, I trust nothing. So this goes on quite a bit. Wally and Barry totally connect. Oh, of course I know it's you, Wally. It's great. And they're racing around trying to figure things out.
Do they really know? Or
they really know.
Okay,
It all comes to know. Okay. And then Aquaman and Garth are kind of having an interaction. So all the mentors and proteges all start remembering each other. But Diana's really nasty to Donna Troy, right? And I mean, I'm having an issue with it too while I'm reading it. And Bruce is just nasty to everybody because it's Bruce. And Nightwing starts talking to him, and he goes, your mask has far better sensors than mine does. So you should start working on that and try to figure out what's going on around here. And the two Flashes start racing around through this endless corridor of crap that they're in. They're just in an endless, hive, right? And there's no way out. And Flash tells Barry, Flash tells Wally, he's like, I don't like how everybody's talking to you. They've called you my sidekick. They've called you my protege.
Barry says this to Wally.
Yeah, he's like, he goes, I don't like how they're talking to you. He goes, you're the Flash, I'm the Flash. And that's it. Now, keep in mind, this is grown, redhead Wally West, not younger, named after the same uncle, African-American Wally West.
Right.
And this is the one who just came out of, the Speed Force for Rebirth. Mm-hmm. And of course, this is, a little bit of a thing for Wally. Wally's like, no, it's okay. I'm just used to, no one even remembering me since I came back from the Speed Force.
Poor Wally.
And he goes, it doesn't matter. He goes, we're equals,
Barry is such a nice guy.
He's amazing, but the scene is so touching. He goes, you're my equal. You're the Flash. And he goes, no, Barry, I'm your legacy. And then they speed off to go check the rest of the corridors. And then they come back, of course, and Batman has adjusted his goggles. I'm skipping around. Other interesting conversations happen as well. Superman, the duo Green Lantern of Earth, okay? I'm sure you guys know that that's Jessica and Simon Boss, right? And the other Titans, including Arsenal, which you'd think he'd be trapped in there with Green Arrow, but Green Arrow hasn't been Justice Leaguing it very much lately, so there you have it. They're all trying to figure out what's going on. Superman knows it's the key. He's like, we got to stop him, get in there, free these guys, figure this out. So they're working on that. And cut back to Batman has adjusted his sensors, right? And Donna's really upset and everything. And Batman's like, okay, I figured out who the traitor among us is. It's her. It's Donna Troy. He's like, she's not human. My sensors are telling me she's the only one here who's not human. And then Diana's like, oh, and that's the other cool thing too, right? Diana of all people is the most untrusting as soon as they come to and realize where they are.
Yeah.
And Nightwing is the one who observes. He goes, well, whoever caught us is freaking great because they did what I would have did. Her lasso is missing.
So she couldn't.
Right.
So she couldn't figure out.
She couldn't figure out anything. Right.
Wow. Okay.
But Wonder Woman is fresh off of the revelation from her comic book that a bunch of stuff is lies, right? So now Batman's like, Donna Troy, she's not human. And Wonder Woman says, no, stop. She's Donna Troy. Right? And he's like, what are you saying? Right? She goes, Donna Troy was made of clay as a weapon to destroy me. And to change her fate, the Amazons took her, kidnapped her, implanted false memories in her to believe that she was my protege, to send her out into the world to be a hero. She's like, this is the real Donna Troy. And Donna's floored.
Because she doesn't know this.
She didn't know this.
Oh my gosh.
This is the truth is revealed to Donna. So, of course, by this point, Superman, the Green Lanterns, the other Titans have, gotten through, the Key's like, oh, man, this isn't good. In the meantime, the Key is just eating it up that they're all falling apart and trying to get what he wants. And you know what? I was so caught up in the drama, I forgot what the Key even freaking wanted. Probably just to have them all.
Well, that's always the best stories is when, like, whatever the MacGuffin is or the thing that incites everything is just the thing to get everybody into those dramatic situations to tell those stories.
So the main MacGuffin is him in capturing them. I don't even remember what he wanted. But Superman, takes them out. They get everyone out of the vault. Their memories, stop being distorted. And, you think it would just be like a happy ending. We're free. And, like Donna's visibly shaken. So
it'll have some lasting effects.
Oh, yeah, because this week's issue of Titans, spoilers, guys, this week's issues of Titan, they've already had their crazy-ass battle with Deathstroke, crazy-ass battle with the Fearsome Five. Mm-hmm. Like, they've just been through it, right? And Omen, you know who she is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Omen is alone with Simon. And for those of you who don't know Simon, I mean, if you watch Young Justice, he's definitely in season 1. And season 2, yes. Because he's like McGann's big nemesis. So Simon is like in her mind, she's in his mind. She's like, you're going to tell me what I want to know, right? And he goes, maybe you're going to tell me what I want first. So he starts leaning into her to get pieces about the Titans' lives, So he sees that Roy is developing a crush on Donna. He sees that Omen is distraught over Donna because Donna doesn't know what she is anymore. And that's really messing with her. She doesn't feel like she's a human life. That Wally is distressed because no one really remembers who he is except for his friends. And then what's important to her going after Simon is that Bumblebee doesn't remember the technology that she created that Hive wants, right?
Okay.
So and where that knowledge is stored, because Hive obviously took that knowledge from her and has stored it somewhere. So as he's leaning into Omen's mind, he sees that Wally and Donna are so disconnected from the world around them, and she's like, well, what's going on? And Donna's like in the kitchenette with him, and I was like, what's going on with you and Linda Park? And he's like, I've reached out to Linda and she's just sick and tired of me calling her. Now mind you, this Wally came from the Speed Force with I was married to Linda Park and I was the Flash. And Linda's just we weren't
now
married.
This is still in the annual, or is
this is the issue out today after the annual.
Okay.
And then she goes into being a weapon to destroy Wonder Woman, and that's no longer her fate. But then what is her fate now if she's this warrior Amazon made of clay with a whole bunch of fake memories? And he goes, I don't know, maybe we need to start something new. And then she reaches out to him. She goes, yes, we should start something new. And then they start making out just as Roy Harper is coming with a bunch of roses for Donna. So there's your drama, folks.
Wow. Titans love triangle.
Yes, always. So now, at this point, Omen has Simon so into it, right? The drama. Oh, you're going to destroy yourselves, Titans. Ooh. That she's like, oh, I got what I wanted from you. And he's like, oh, you're so sneaky. He's like, you're not powerful at all. He goes, you got what you wanted by me leaning into you. He goes, but I know the worst of everything now, right? She goes, oh, please, you don't know what you really know. But she's like, you don't know the reality of anything. And he's like, oh, yeah. He goes, but you're not powerful. And she's like, she goes, I'm going to show you that you've been wrong twice today. And she lets loose on Simon and knocks him to the floor from the table he's sitting at, right? And And then they're in each other's mind. He goes, one of you Titans is a phony and is going to betray the others. And then there's this dark image of one Titan, whoever this mysterious Titan is, maybe it's even Omen, destroying the other Titans. It's like kind of implied by the image it may be her, right? Wow. And she's like, you know nothing. You only saw what I thought that you needed to see to get what I want. And then she leaves him there on the floor and she takes off. And then, it cuts to, I have the information, guys. Let's go get Bumblebee's memories, and that's
so.
That's
do you think that's legitimately foreshadowing that event?
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely foreshadowing something. I think it's too obvious to say it's Omen herself. Just like that there's no mystery or fun in that.
Yeah.
You'd want to believe it's Donna because now you know that she was created to be a weapon. But again.
That's true.
Also misleading.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure it's going to be...
I think it's going to be Roy.
Well, Roy
is going to be jealous.
Right, but Roy is, active in other stories, too. So, sure. I mean, he could trigger it, be the trigger, but not be the main problem. But anyhow, I had a great time reading... Titans Annual #1 here, and today's issue of Titans, which of course I don't have in front of me, so I don't remember what issue number that is, but it's cool. Kenneth Rocafort did the art, Dan Brown did the coloring, very good.
I'll check that out.
There's so much more I have to talk about. Do you want to?
I'll say I haven't been reading much recent stuff. I have a couple of kids, if you didn't know that, and so I have a stack. I don't know. Like this big of comics that I got to get through that I still have.
You don't do the bathroom trick?
The what?
You go into the bathroom.
Yeah.
You pretend you're doing your business. You take a few comics with you.
No, but what I do sometimes is when my kids are taking a bath, I have to sit there and watch them. So I'll bring a comic in.
You don't just let them drown and take your chances?
Not usually. The only danger with that is that if they splash too much, it actually will get the comic wet. So...
I want to point out, by the way, I really like what DC's doing. There's a lot of $3.99 books recently, and there's a little digital code sticker on the last page in the back, and you reveal that, and you've got a free digital download.
Is it of that issue?
Of that issue.
Because I know that, was it Marvel maybe? Marvel is, one of them is doing one where you get a copy of a different comic, a digital copy of a different comic.
Oh, no, this is the same comic.
That's good. I mean, Marvel's been doing that for years.
Well, I think Marvel, I think they both did it before, but the problem with that was like somebody would go and find the book at Barnes & Noble, scan it, and then it was no longer any good. So I think this new way where the code is sealed, so if it's exposed, you know you got a bad one.
I remember when I got the Marvel comics like 4 years ago, it was a peel-off thing that you had to peel off.
Yeah, so the peel-off is back.
And it was a copy of that comic.
Yep.
But I heard, I'll have to double-check on that. I heard that I think Marvel was doing where you got a digital copy of a different comic. Which I thought was interesting because I guess if you own a copy of the comic, you really don't need a digital copy of that comic.
Right, but then you don't have to mess up your copy.
Well, that's true, but I mean...
Sorry, guys.
So anyway, I have been reading and will be getting caught up on Star Trek To Boldly Go, which is an ongoing series from IDW that takes place in the Kelvin timeline, which is the new movie timeline, and it takes place between
Into Darkness and Beyond.
Into Darkness and Beyond, because it's while what's the one? No, it takes place. No. I'm sorry. It's at the end of at the end of Beyond, when the new. So the Enterprise gets destroyed. Spoiler alert. Again, we should have just called the show "Spoiler Alert." I'm sure somebody's already got that taken.
If they haven't seen Star Trek Beyond right now, that is totally on
True,
them.
and it's a great. It's probably the best or second best movie in the top.
I'm gonna be honest. I since rewatching it after my initial fury with it, I like it. But I think when I say my initial fury, it had nothing to do with the story.
Right.
Just the whole handling of Gay Sulu.
So let's talk about that. So what are your opinions? I have my opinions. I'm
a
huge Star Trek fan.
I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna put it in one bundle.
Okay.
I'm done with you, Hollywood. I'm done. I'm done with the gay character, queer character, gay, queer, ooh, 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 and then the movie happens, and if you weren't looking for it, you missed it.
Oh,
Okay?
so you're saying it wasn't represented enough?
Absolutely not.
Gotcha.
Most straight people that you know, right?
Yeah.
When they're at their desk, is it not a picture of their spouse and child? Usually.
Yes.
Okay. Sulu, just the daughter. Right?
I see what
When you greet your wife at the airport.
There may be a production reason why that.
There is a production reason. Paramount stepped in and said, no, I know this.
No. There may have been another reason because the actor who was cast to play the gay character.
Yeah.
So they were filming in, I believe, Dubai.
Okay.
Okay. And the actor who was cast to play the gay character, because, homophobia is a bigger thing, in the Middle East, backed out on the day that they were going to film that scene. Where Sulu,
but they filmed the kiss.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
When Sulu goes and meets his husband and the daughter. So the actor backed out that day. The person who plays that character is the co-writer.
Oh, so they had to sub in a new husband.
Right. So what I'm saying is, if in other scenes there was the picture of the daughter, there may have in fact been a picture of the daughter and the original actor playing it. But they had to sub it. Now, I mean, they could have fixed it in post production.
But they still didn't. They should have.
Right.
And because they still didn't fix the issue. Right. Because again, most heterosexuals, and you're speaking on behalf of that community. I'm sorry.
Well, I am heterosexual. So
right. I know. But I mean, there's just no one else here, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot. Whatever.
That's fine.
Did someone actually write something?
Need to read Star Trek Green Lantern crossover.
Yes, you do.
I will talk about that in a moment because I actually read the first one. I have the trade of that one. I'll talk about that in a moment.
So anyhow, my point is, anyone I know who hasn't seen their spouse in ages and they meet them at an airport, in this case a space dock, whatever, they're going to share a kiss. And I just, again...
They did not kiss?
Nope, it's a hug. And they walk away hip to hip. And that's it. And I was upset because Simon Pegg was on the internet about it. George Takei was on the internet.
With gay.
Yeah, we know. And toupee for William Shatner.
Yeah.
George Takei was all over the internet about it.
You saw that roast of William Shatner too?
Every time.
Yeah, that's
and and as you know, the gentleman who plays Sulu, they were all actively on the internet communicating their and Simon, I said Simon Pegg, right? They're all actively on the internet communicating their feelings about the situation, with the actor kind of in the middle because he loves George Takei and what he brought to the character. Simon wrote the movie.
George Takei was not initially happy with.
Right, and
because that was not the original conception for the character.
Right, he's like, I appreciate it's a tribute to me.
Yeah.
He goes, but if you really want to honor me, make a new gay character and just do it.
Yeah.
Which actually is really what I'm kind of, make a gay character who you're not going to kill after 5 seconds, and there
will be one on Star Trek Discovery.
Yes, I heard.
Anthony Rapp, I believe, plays him, who was in Rent.
Yes. So, but anyhow, I don't want to go on too much about this. Obviously, it hurt my viewing experience, but the movie itself is very good and quite original for this new Star Trek universe.
Yeah.
I liked the other two. They didn't feel Star Trek enough. And then this one actually felt like a Star Trek adventure, except then the villain didn't feel like enough in this movie compared to the other two. But that's okay. It's really good.
So I'll quickly summarize my opinions about the Sulu thing. I agree with a lot of what you're saying,
but I want you to know it goes beyond Sulu, right? Because
right.
I didn't even get to go onto that. It's not just Sulu. It's because it's Sulu. It's because it's Yellow Ranger. It's because it's LeBouf in Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. It's all of them. It's whatever. That's why I say it the way I say it. Because it's all of them. It's not even. When are we just gonna have it?
It's not as like. So all right. Let me start. So my opinion of it is I agree with pretty much everything you're saying. My view of it is I appreciate the thought that they wanted to include this because Star Trek has, for all intents and purposes, should have had a gay character from the 80s. And in fact, I'm pretty sure Geordie LaForge from The Next Generation was intended to be a gay character. I think you can ask LeVar Burton that. I believe Gene Roddenberry's intention was that he was a homosexual character on the show. And there is an episode. There's an episode. I forget the name of the episode. It'll come to me in a second. Where the Enterprise visits a gender-neutral planet, and Riker has the relationship with this. Yeah, so,
and that's the closest.
So they deal with it.
It's
they
the
deal
closest
with
thing ever to the gay episode.
And the argument, which I sort of agree with and don't, is that it's the reason why it's not prominent is because it's not an issue in the future.
Which I get, but
so that being said,
we know it's a cop-out.
Yes, I agree. With the incident of Sulu in Star Trek Beyond, I agree that it was. So it's weird because on one hand I say yes, I completely agree with you. They should represent it more accurately. Yes, absolutely. I believe that in general of all things, all things should be represented more appropriately and more accurately to the world that we live in. As you and I both know, that's an issue that goes far beyond Star Trek. The second thing is that it does feel a little. On the other hand, I feel like it's a little effortless that they're not like showing a spotlight on it because it's not supposed to be a major thing. It's supposed to be a normal thing. So, it's tough.
If they had just given me the kiss upon meeting,
right,
I would be completely with you.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's avoided, the fact that over time I've discovered that they actually filmed it, and the
other thing I was going to say is I'm sure that they filmed several different versions, and then for whatever reason they chose to put in that one.
We know what for whatever reason is. We know.
Anyway, so speaking to Spazzed Out Max, I read the trade paperback of the Star Trek Green Lantern crossover, and it was really good. I really liked it, and I have already collected the 6 issues of Volume 2 in single issues and have them, again, that's another stack in my stack of things to read, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Have you read that, the Star Trek Green Lantern
I only
crossover?
read one issue, but I thought it was great, and it gives me hope that maybe they will bring Legion of Superheroes back, because I love them.
Yep.
I read Legion of Superheroes Bugs Bunny yesterday. But anyhow, I felt like Green Lanterns in that.
Oh, by the way, so I'm assuming your review of Titans Annual was a woo.
Oh, it's a woo, baby.
How much of a woo?
Woo woo!
Oh, double woo.
Double woo. I was happy. I always love when Bruce is a prick, and he's called out on it. I thought it was great. I like that Diana had to succumb to her humanity when she realized, okay, we are being deceived, but she's definitely Donna, especially now that you've proven it with your stupid goggles, Batman.
Yeah. So yeah, Star Trek Green Lantern is great. I loved I loved how they matched up the Red Lantern with the Gorn.
Yep.
And the Larfleeze with the Romulan senator, and
that's interesting because who I would have placed Larfleeze with, right?
Who
the
would you
Ferengi.
Well, but in the Kelvin universe, they haven't met the Ferengi yet.
Okay. Yeah,
so if anybody knows their general Star Trek timeline history, in the Prime universe, Captain Picard is actually the first captain to encounter. Although Enterprise screws everything up because they actually ran into the Ferengi in an episode.
Well, actually, it's not. I get it, but it's not Enterprise that screwed everything up. You know what? Actually, the first thing that really screwed the timeline up was, right?
What?
First Contact.
Well, how did that screw
because
up? That repaired it.
No.
Oh no! Because the Borg fell onto the Arctic.
Yep.
And then the Borg ended up back, which actually is what To Boldly Go is about.
Yeah.
So To Boldly Go takes place during the time that the new Enterprise is being built at the end of Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So so everybody's off on their different assignments. Kirk is in temporary command of. I forget the name of the ship, but he's in the temporary command of another ship. Spock and Uhura are on sabbatical to Vulcan, so they're taking a little, family
Vulcan,
vacation.
New
Vulcan, yes, New Vulcan. So they're taking a little vacation. His father's there, Sarek's there.
He's got a more on previous Spock as well.
Yeah, and which, by the way they touched on that in Beyond was just amazing.
Perfect.
It was so good.
Do you know what I loved? I loved that he saw the future version of the crew, so that he could just be like, Even as an actor having to play through the Vulcan version of emotions, the look in his eye was perfect.
It was just so well done. And so Sulu is the first officer on another ship who is commanded by Captain Tyrrell, who was the captain at the beginning of Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, that Chekhov was the first officer for when they were searching for... Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the beginning of Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
Right.
When they were searching for the Genesis planet to test the Genesis device on. Captain Tyrrell and Chekhov got the worm in their ear from Khan. And so Sulu is his first officer. And Captain Tyrrell, like... He drives his ship into bad places because in the Kelvin timeline,
he still does something horrifying.
Well, what ends up happening is so the whole Kelvin timeline was created because the Narada Nero ship came back in time. Well, they don't really talk about it in the movie, but in the comic books, there's a like a prequel comic that leads into that, which actually has Captain Data of the Enterprise and Ambassador Picard helps, and Geordi LaForge actually builds that squid ship that Spock takes back in time when he tries to stop the Hobus star from exploding. Nero's ship is actually Borg-like technology on top of it. Like he used Borg technology and added it to the Narada to make it more powerful. And if you play Star Trek Online, the MMO for Star Trek, there's actually a mission where you go into the vault, which is where he built that ship, and they have like a Borg sphere that they're doing tests on and stuff. Anyway, terrifying. So the premise of To Boldly Go is that when the Narada came into that timeline, the technology activated a beacon to call the Borg from the Delta Quadrant. And so what ends up happening is are we still live? Yeah, we're still live. Yeah, we're still live. What ends up happening is Captain Tyrrell drives his starship to the edge of the Delta Quadrant, and the Borg show up. And the Borg destroys the ship.
Yep.
And
with Sulu on board, or
Sulu's on board. The ship is destroyed, and then Kirk is the next closest starship. So he goes flying in, and he has a Romulan first officer, which is really cool. And it's so funny because Romulans look like Vulcans, right? So he's like, all right, everybody, we're like, they're supposed to go to some space dock or something for resupplies, and he's like, all right, we're gonna go into this dangerous situation. And the first officer says, Captain, and then Kirk interrupts her and says, look, I know, we're supposed to be blah blah blah, and she goes, no, I was gonna agree with you, we should go. Like, it's so funny, like he expects just because she looks Vulcan, he's like, sorry, maybe it's the ears, but I just assumed you were gonna tell me not to go. So
well, the Romulans have similar sensibilities, but they have the full range of emotion.
The full range of emotions.
They were the same race.
So
it's like Kryptonians and Daxamites. They were the same race.
Well, exactly. And so they were the same race on Vulcan. And then what happened was that emotion had overrun to the point of war on Vulcan. And so Surak, who is a Vulcan like leader, he developed the whole philosophy of purging emotion for the Vulcans. And so the teachings of Surak, and what happened was that anybody who believed him, who wanted to follow him, they followed him and stayed on Vulcan. And then anybody who didn't, they followed these two guys named Romulus and Remus.
Yep.
Off of Vulcan, and they went and found these two planets, and one brother took one and called it Romulus, and the other brother took the other one and called it Remus. And then hence why in Star Trek Nemesis you have the Romulans and the Remans, because they're the evolutionary offshoots, and because of the conditions on, it was like 4,000 or 5,000 years before like the modern Star Trek timeline, and a lot of that information comes from there's a 3-part episode series in Enterprise that talks about Surak, and in fact Captain Archer gets Surak's Katra stuck in his head, and so he's like walking around like, being Surak and Archer at the same time.
Kind of like what happened to
McCoy and
to
Spock.
McCoy and
Yeah,
Spock,
exactly.
yes.
The Katra.
Which, by the way, what great acting for that movie.
Oh
right?
my gosh!
Like
Star Trek 3 is usually the one that people don't watch.
It's true, but you know what? I watched them on Netflix a while ago to kind of like just get into it. And 3 isn't awful. It's just that 3 is so rough because 2 is so dramatic.
And 4 is so fun.
Right.
And 3 is stuck in the middle. But it's the middle of that trilogy. That really is a story trilogy. 2, 3, and 4 is the Trek trilogy. So
where we start where all this is just crazy.
No, don't worry. I got us back. So in To Boldly Go, the ship is destroyed. Kirk flies in and looks for escape pods, and thankfully he gets Sulu, and Sulu tells him, and he's like, at the end of the first issue, he's like, and they were saying, and at the same time, I forget who it was, but either Sulu or Kirk, they send Uhura the signal that they're getting from the ship. I think it was Sulu, and asks her to decode it. So at the same time Kirk is saving Sulu, Uhura's decoding the message on New Vulcan. Yeah. And at the same time
they're getting terrified, right?
Yeah. Well, so at the same time they come to the realization that the message was resistance is futile.
Yeah.
And so Sulu says that to Kirk at the same time that Uhura, like, they're intercutting between panels, and so that's the end of the first one, and that lets you know, oh my god, the Borg is coming. And so, like, the cover of the second issue is Spock, and he's all Borgified on one side, and I'll have to find out who does the artwork, because the artwork is the cover artwork is really great, and I really enjoy the interior artwork as well, and it's pretty well written too. I mean, a lot of times Star Trek comics tend to sort of be like kind of fluffy, but this one actually has been really good. And
I think IDW has
definitely
had a strong hold on putting up good series over the last decade, really, with them.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna get caught up on To Boldly Go, and then I'm also reading Star Trek Waypoint, which is like a collection of short things, and it's a lot of what if stuff. And then in the first issue there's this amazing story of this. There's one episode of Star Trek, I'll have to go back and figure out what it is, but it's the original series, and there's this like random crew woman who like dies in the episode, and like she probably has 10 lines total in the episode, right? But this comic shows like her before that on the Enterprise, like how she's contributing and everything, and how her death is actually kind of heroic and stuff. And then it tells this whole story of there. And then in the very last panel, or the very last page, you see somebody in a cadet's uniform standing in front of a memorial to her on Earth. And then it shows who it is, and it's Janeway.
Nice.
And so she's like drawing inspiration from this woman who like sacrificed herself on board the Enterprise in this, who if you watch the TV show was just this random crew woman number 3 or whatever. Yeah. But they told this whole backstory. So it's a whole bunch of these little slices of like potential history or potential future. There's one where it's one really weird one. They're not all great, but there's one really weird one where Geordi's flying around the universe in a spaceship, and he's surrounded by like 6 Datas. Data is his bridge crew all over the ship. And then you find out that they're all holograms, and that Data's head is like connected to the ship. And it's just...
Oh, I kind of remember that, but that's kind of cool.
It's cool, but it was just like, it's kind of weird. Like, it's just a weird story. But
well, does it take place after Data's death in Nemesis?
I believe so.
Because that would be freaking cool.
It definitely does. It definitely does. It definitely takes place in the future. But it was just kind of like a... And then he rescues a bunch of these... He rescues a bunch of crewmen, engineers or something. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, like, Admiral Picard is like, well, we got to find something for these kids to do. And he's like, I've got something. And then they all go into a room, and there's all of Data's pieces. Oh, Data sacrifices himself. That's right. Data as the ship sacrifices himself. I think they're fighting, like, the Borg, too. Everybody fights the Borg. And
I mean, the Borg is, like, much more prevalent and pervasive and dangerous in that era.
Yeah. Well, they're one of the better Star Trek villains.
I got it. Of that generation of Star Trek, clearly the best villain. Yeah.
So the other things that I like to read are sex criminals. I'm a huge Matt Fraction fan. I started reading Matt Fraction when he did the Hawkeye series, which is so good. Have you read that Hawkeye series?
Yeah, I want it to be a Netflix series.
Oh, God. I would love it to be a movie. Like, I would love...
Well, no, because it's long enough that would be a perfect Netflix series.
Yeah, it's just...
I mean, and what a cast. Him, Kate Bishop.
Yeah. Pizza Dog.
Pizza Dog. I mean, come on.
It's so good. The only problem is
good.
because in the current Marvel universe, Hawkeye is married and lives in a cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Do you know how many supervillains are ready to just take that whole family out?
Probably. I'm hoping he lives in Latvia.
No, I'm sure he lives in America.
But
so I'm just saying. And also, I mean, well, yeah, Cap had to break him out of the prison.
Yeah. So I'm getting caught up on sex.
Oh no,
criminals.
actually, that was my idea. Right, my idea is like he can't go back to his family.
Oh, so he goes and lives in an apartment in Brooklyn.
So he lives in an apartment in Brooklyn,
Gets
but then
taken over by Russian terrorists or Russian mob.
Right, exactly. And well, if you want to get really crazy with it, I mean, Natasha could be part of the series too. But
well, she shows.
Yeah,
Oh no. She shows up every once in a while.
Right, she's briefly in it. Kate's heavily in it, which I approve.
Kate is so I fell in love with Kate in that book. Like I want to read, if I have time, I want to read the new Hawkeye series that's just about her.
Yeah.
Like she's such a great character and such a great they have such a great relationship. You know, it's
so funny because I mean, me personally, I found her to be like. I don't know what I found it to be, but I liked her from her first appearance.
Yeah.
You know, she's at this wedding. The Young Avengers are there doing stuff, and she just jumps. She's just like, she's like, oh, here, let me just rip this bridesmaid's gown and just like start trying to help you guys fight.
Yeah.
You know?
I love her. So I'm trying to get caught up on sex criminals, which is really great. And I was a big fan of, in the New 52, I was a huge fan of Earth 2.
Yeah,
I really like that story,
and then it kind of fell apart.
I'm up to World's End. I think the other thing I read too in New 52 was World's Finest.
Yeah,
I loved Power.
I did. I'm missing it so bad.
And I'm at the point now where they've crossed. I think I'm at the point now where they've crossed back over to Earth 2, and now they're superheroes on Earth 2. So I'm going to continue with that series just because I they're doing Earth 2 Society, and I'm it's hard for me to get into like the mainstream, like, Superman, Batman, and that kind of stuff, just because there's so many books, and I just don't. I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm sure a lot of people feel like this too. I just get overwhelmed with the amount of storylines and stuff. So. If anybody in the live chat has any questions or anything, let us know. Or any comic books that you guys are excited about, anything that you guys are reading recently, let us know.
Okay, so I got to talk about.
So tell us about your next one. So anyway,
the next one is next one.
So To Boldly Go is a woo. Star Trek Waypoint, unfortunately, is a boo for me. Although I will continue reading it. I think it was only a 4-issue series anyway. And I'm excited to get caught up on the other stuff. So.
I mean, so this is what I really want to show off here, okay, is, so these issues of Suicide Squad. Right? And who do you think this
Issue 17.
Yep. Who do you think that bad boy is?
Is that Vandal Savage?
No, but you will kneel before him.
Is that Zod?
It's Zod.
Zod is on the Suicide Squad?
Zod is in the Suicide Squad.
What?
Amanda Waller put a green kryptonite bomb in his head. How do you think Zod took to that?
He probably did not like that.
It did not go well. And not only are these issues so dramatic, the Suicide Squad fighting General Zod and the Black Vault, okay, because that's its own terrifying thing.
So what issue numbers are these? The 17?
18 and 19.
17, 18, and 19.
19 is out today. That's this one here. This is the Tony Daniel cover. There are 2 covers. This is the Tony Daniel cover with Cyborg Superman. So Cyborg Superman and Eradicator come over from Action Comics 980 to come get Zod.
Can I ask a question? Can we pause for a second? So when I first got into comics, it was right after Superman died, and the Reign of the Superman series, which I love that whole thing. How did they bring? Now that we're post New 52, are these the same Cyborg Superman?
They are. Which
from the Reign of the Superman series?
So this is Hank Henshaw, who was previously Supergirl's dad. So Supergirl's first, and I have Supergirl number 10 is out today, also by Steve Orlando. It's Into the Phantom Zone Part 2. Supergirl's first story arc is almost completely irrelevant now, thanks to the after effects of Superman Rebirth. Right?
Really?
Because now she is Kal-El's cousin. They're from the same planet Krypton, and Reign of the Superman happened. I don't know how they're going to explain it. And I talked to Steve Orlando, and he's like, I really like that hyper time is back. I don't know if he's going to use hyper time. I don't know if he's going to re-explain what happened through fresh eyes at a later date.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's definitely processing.
So in the current Rebirth universe,
Yeah.
Superman died. Doomsday and Superman fought.
Yep.
He died. All that
Yes.
stuff happened. The reign of the Superman happened.
Yep.
Where's Superboy?
Right, there is no Connor Kent in the current timeline. I'm very upset about it. I told everyone I know at DC that I want a new World's Finest title featuring Nightwing, Dick Grayson, and Flamebird, Connor Kent. Ooh. I told them, please steal my idea, make it happen. I love Connor so much, let's not leave him in limbo. And because this way he gets upgraded as a character, Robin becomes Nightwing and we get a new Robin. Yeah. We have a new Superboy, let Connor become Flamebird.
Okay, so what's going on in these?
So here, this issue is Cyborg Superman and Eradicator heading out to go get Zod for the preservation of Krypton, because that's Eradicator's main goal. Cyborg Superman still hasn't revealed everything he wants.
Why isn't he working with Brainiac? He's preserving.
They're working. Oh no, because remember, Brainiac isn't preserving.
But he's collecting.
Right, he's collecting. Yeah, so Eradicator would be fighting Brainiac. He'd be like, the preservation of Krypton cannot be started by you, machine. You too are a machine, and I will absorb you. Die. That would be a great fight. And then of course, this issue in the background here are the other members of the new Superman Revenge Squad. Right? So Zod may be working with...
So Metallo?
That's Metallo. Yes.
And Eradicator.
Yep.
Who's this guy? Who's the one?
That is Blank.
Blank?
Blank or Bleak.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of the name you use for like a whiteout. I'm losing it. I'm gonna have to open the comic. It's a lesser Superman villain, but
sure. I've never heard of him.
I mean, I definitely have, but like not enough to. Blank, Blanque. Yep. Superman has been there to stop you from completing your life's work from day one. I still don't even know what Blank's life's work is supposed to be. Mongol is there, which Mongol working with the Cyborg Superman is crazy, because as you know, Cyborg Superman took Warworld for him, and apparently that's still in continuity. But anyhow, just have General Zod back, a threat for the DC universe or the DC Earth. I like that. I don't like all these stupid crossovers. I don't. But I do love the idea of something big. Yeah. I like the idea of Lex Luthor becomes president, and this affects almost every title you read.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean that everybody gets drawn into a crossover, but they may have interactions with President Luthor. I like that.
Because comic companies always rely on those huge crossover events, and you got to get all these
tired.
Whereas if they just do something small, that is almost a benign incident that ripples out, that's almost more interesting, and that organically makes you want to read the other stories.
And that's exactly how I felt about Suicide Squad and Action. I organically wanted it, and I liked the Suicide Squad that I was reading. Wow. And that's what's great. And they really had Suicide Squad moments happening. There were actually, I'm not going to ruin it for you because that one's super spoilerific. There's so much going on, but it's full of emotion, full of characters connecting, full of people wanting to take responsibility and the bullet for what's going on. It was like a constant no, I should sacrifice myself for the Suicide Squad. No, the whole existence of the squad and this mess is my fault. I'm Amanda Waller. I should sacrifice myself for the Suicide Squad. Nope, I'm the leader. I'm Rick Flag. I should sacrifice myself. That goes on through the battle because of course, what do you do to stop a Kryptonian?
Yeah.
Like Zod. Do we have a new question?
Spazzed Out Max is looking forward to Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows.
Oh, that's a pretty good title.
I'm not big into Spider-Man. The only Spider-Man comic I read was, what was it, number 700 when Doc Ock took over his body. Yeah.
And I still didn't hate that storyline.
I thought it was pretty, I will tell you, it was a moment where I was reading a comic and I was just like, whoa, I can't believe they just did that. And maybe it was because I'm not as heavily invested into Peter Parker or Spider-Man like in the comic universe, but I was like, that is crazy. I cannot wait to see how that turns out.
Yep.
And then when I heard that they just continued it through Superior Spider-Man, I was like, this is bonkers.
Yep.
Like and the thing is everybody gets so like the internet just decides to hate on stuff so much. It's like Captain America and the Hydra thing. It's like
I'm sorry, I felt that was extreme poor taste, and for me, but then again, you're right, it could be just silly.
But the other thing,
it hasn't been a great story,
and that's fine because you could have something like that not be quality writing or a quality product, but
it doesn't mean you shouldn't give it a shot,
right? Well, it's like just let it play out, let it see where they're going with this, because it's like I mean, how long did Superior Spider-Man run?
It went on a while, and there was a lot of hate, but you know what? It was pretty good. It's
like, and the other thing, so just, and you
and it wasn't like it was just as Superior Spider-Man.
Right.
It's the fact that all the Spider-Man titles were now this guy.
Yeah.
Doc Ock
like
and
in Avengers, it was him. It was like it was like he was there and everywhere. That's a thing where it's like that's something that, for all intents and purposes, was limited to one comic series, or maybe a couple of different books based on the character, and had a rippling effect throughout all of them. And it's like it's like, oh well, now that it's him, how is he going to interact with Doctor Doom if he fights him, or how is he going to interact with Tony Stark, or like so on and so forth. And
I think he got along better with Tony.
As
soon as he said to him, he goes, "So the Avengers is a paying job?" And Tony's like, "Yeah, of course." And he's like, "I love you," and like started hugging him, and I was just like, "Oh my god."
Jeez. But it's like those things. It's like they, again, it's those organic things that make you want to read them. But it's like, when you have these events like that, it's like, let them play out a little bit. Let them see how it goes, and before people start getting.
I think we need to do more of that. But see, that's the problem, though, isn't it? Yeah. Right? Because the Captain America thing isn't that.
Yeah.
Right? It's extremely pervasive. And
it's intense. It's like it's a little more like in your face.
Right. I think if the Captain America thing had been something going on in his own title, but now it became this whole Secret Empire thing, it became another mega event, which thankfully they're not doing tie-in after tie-in. Yeah. Now it's one crossover. And I'm more approving of that. So, but again, it's the fact that, well, you set the seed and you're having another major event.
So what's going on in Renew Your Vows? Because I'm not familiar with that.
Renew Your Vows is simply a timeline where Peter and Mary Jane had never had an encounter with Mephisto, and they continued their days and had their daughter Mayday, or Mary Jane, Mayday, right? And then that was it.
And did that run finish, or they're still going? I know that there's been a few issues of that, right?
Oh yeah, it's still going.
Yeah. Okay.
Renew Your Vows is out. I think there's a new volume of Renew Your. I think there's a new volume of Renew Your Vows. No, maybe I'm right. It just feels like there's always.
I think there's current issues coming out. But,
yes, there definitely is.
So woo or boo on this?
Oh, woo, woo, triple woo, 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 woo! Because Zod, kneel before me, hates Amanda Waller. So good.
That makes sense.
Good. I mean, can I ruin one thing about it?
What's that?
He went to a mirror and heat vision.
Oh, MJ. I spazzed out as saying that MJ gets the Venom suit this week.
Oh, is that happening in the book?
I may have to check that out because they're making a big Venom push right now. Edge of Venom
why, right?
verse.
It's because of the deal they made with Sony, and Sony's gonna make a Venom movie.
Right, and which they still have not officially said whether or not that's in continuity with the MCU.
No, they haven't, but I have a feeling,
or if it's even gonna have Spider-Man in it.
I don't think it's gonna have Spider-Man in it. Because a lot of people are under the impression this character is strong enough on its own. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna be good, great, bad. It's not for me, but I do think it's because they made friends with Sony, so there's gonna be a big push for this.
I think they're gonna pull a fast one on this. I'm hoping. This is my hope, and that in Avengers: Infinity War, Peter Parker's going to be fighting out in space, and little little symbiont is going to crawl up on him before he gets back in the Quinjet and goes back to Earth.
Or it's going to come on one of Star-Lord's ships. Right?
I would not be surprised if that's something that was in the collector's collection.
Absolutely.
In Guardians of the Galaxy.
No problem. I mean, well, right. It wouldn't be a surprise even though Spider-Man wasn't part of the team then.
Right.
But yeah, MJ in the Venom suit.
That's going to be interesting. I might pick that one up and try to read it while I'm at work. All right, so let's move on to segment 2. This is a long show today. Obviously, we got started a little late.
We don't know what we're doing. It's great.
Yeah, we're sort of searching things out. But the other thing too is that we
love talking to each other.
Yeah, well, and since it's the first show, we have everything that's happened before today to talk about.
I know.
So
should we talk about Wonder Woman?
Let's. What did we watch?
Yeah.
What did we watch? Well, we watched Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
We watched Wonder Woman, and
much like the TV show, all my hopes were pinned upon this movie.
I gotta say, if this movie did not succeed in at least a small bit,
I would have been crying a lot.
Critically.
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest, Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad financially were success.
Right.
Worldwide box office,
but critically,
financially success. Critically, not
it's rough road. Yeah.
And so I really wanted this to be a somewhat universally accepted film because I'm a huge DC fan. I was a DC comic fan when I was a kid. I never read Marvel. I didn't know anybody beyond Spider-Man and Spider-Man. I didn't know anybody besides Spider-Man growing up until 2008 when Iron Man came out in theaters. I didn't know who anybody else was. And so to see the hype for me for Batman v Superman was insane because my entire life I grew up with, Christopher Reeve as Superman. I saw, we should also have a moment of silence for Mr. Adam West.
Us in a moment of silence? I don't know.
That would be tough,
I think it should be a nod.
A nod to Adam West.
Of sadness, yes.
The Bright Knight, one of the handful of people who have shown us a side of Batman, and there's a great scene from The Big Bang Theory. We was in the car with the guys, and he talks all this stuff, and he says, "What do you?" He craps on Christian Bale, and one of the guys is like, "What do you mean, Christian Bale? He got he perfected the I'm Batman," and Adam West is like, "You know what? When I showed up, I didn't have to say I was Batman. People just knew it."
Yep.
And that's true. I mean, that legacy, that visual, that costume. I mean, and there's been this resurgence for that era Batman in the last couple of years. They just did one animated film.
Yep.
They're doing a second animated film being released that Adam West
did the voice for.
I believe
Batman
there's a
Two-Face,
third animated. Oh yeah, and William Shatner is playing Two-Face.
Yes.
It's amazing. Sorry. And
okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Batman debuted, I believe, in January or February of 1966.
Yep.
And that following September, Star Trek: The Original Series premiered on NBC. And so, that show was just such a staple for years. And without that, you couldn't take it in the opposite direction when Tim Burton did Batman in 1989, which was my, Batman. That was the one I grew up with. And so, and that Batmobile is still my favorite Batmobile of all time. My dad and I put a model of that together, and it had the machine guns that popped up and shot the rubber bullets. And,
I had the American one,
mm-hmm.
and when I was in Canada, I had to get the Canadian one out of one of the stores we were in. It was one of those larger stores, mm-hmm. Almost like Caldor, where there's multiple departments, including a toy department. And I was like, the Batmobile in Canada has the metal shield. And I'm like, Mom, I have to have this.
Oh my God! Like the fold out, like
Yeah. So it was just a plastic cover, a dome that went right over it.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that you could have the armored back car, and I lost my mind over it.
Such a great scene too.
Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, the sequel to the, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. When I was in Canada, Black Cat was an action figure.
Really?
Yep. For the
MJ was in that movie too, and they cut her out.
Yeah, but Black Cat was an action figure for that toy line. Not that she would have to be in the movie, but she was an action figure for the toy line. I couldn't believe it. But I never saw it here. I only saw it when I was there. I thought that was kind of interesting.
And you know the resurgence of that 66 Batman, and now they've got the Batman 66, Wonder Woman 77 comic.
Yep, and they did a team up.
Yep, and that's ongoing right now. I mean, not ongoing, but that's still going on right now.
They have Batman 66 Legion of Superheroes coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, how do you do this about Superman? So I wrote to DC the other day on Twitter, and I'm like, I want Superman 55. You know? I realized that he started before and ended after 55. Yeah. George Reeves did.
But you got to do 55, 66,
but give us Superman 55, for goodness sake. You know, I'm sure that's the year that the freaking show went to color anyway, so come on.
Yeah. So, Wonder Woman.
Yes. Oh my goodness, Wonder Woman.
I'll admit, I don't know much about the backstory of Wonder Woman from the comics. I know a little bit of the New 52, and actually, the most information I have from her is from Flashpoint. Because I read Flashpoint I watched Flashpoint. I watched the animated film because Pirate Deathstroke is the best.
Yep.
Deathstroke as a pirate just blows my mind.
Did you notice? You watched Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the pirates on a ship were based on Young Justice?
I did not.
Watch it again.
I will.
Aqualad.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman released June 2nd, 2017.
I was there June 1st.
The hype was I saw it Thursday night as well. I saw it twice in 24 hours.
Yeah. The way it should be done.
The hype was real, and a week before they dropped the embargo so that people could start reviewing it.
Yep. And praising it.
Woo! And Rotten Tomatoes was at 97% is the highest I saw it at, and that was with 66 critics.
Yep.
I was so paranoid. I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be like.
I was afraid, and it certainly is not everything I dreamed of. However, I have to accept the fact that she does not belong to me.
Yeah.
She belongs to everyone, and this Wonder Woman is for everyone.
Well, and just this event, the Wonder Woman, the first major character from the comic books.
Yep.
Getting her own movie.
Yep.
For the first time.
Yep.
I know Elektra and Catwoman, but come on.
They were both not great.
They've never been, titular characters from the pantheon of comics for the last 75 years.
No,
okay?
and Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman.
If you go anywhere in the world, and you show them a picture of Superman, they know who it is.
Yep.
You show them a picture of Batman, they know who it is. Nowadays, you could probably show them a picture of Iron Man and they know who it is.
Yep.
But you show them a picture of Wonder Woman, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel.
I'm pretty sure if you show them a picture of Wonder Woman, they know exactly who it is.
Right. You show them a picture of all these female superheroes. The only one they're going to recognize is Wonder Woman. And that this is major. Female director with a budget of over $100 million. That's the first time this has happened, which in itself is ludicrous and should have happened years ago.
Right. Not to mention, it's only for superhero films. It was still only $150.
Yeah.
I'm
pretty sure though that's typical for the first movie in a series.
It is, but that it's the first in her series, but not the first in the DC Extended Universe.
No, but I think Captain America, the first Avenger,
that was
had a similar.
Yes, but again, Captain America, the first Avenger, that's before they became pirates of the Disney universe. That was still their own money.
That's true. Although that was around the time that Disney bought them, I think.
But that movie was already
Avengers
done.
because I think Avengers was released, was a Disney release, but it was still under Paramount Like
Right. Paramount
it was,
got to do the distribution.
but Disney made the money.
Right. But Paramount still made distribution
Right,
money,
right. And
which is why they will not let go of the Hulk.
Well, no, they don't have Hulk. Universal has Hulk because
why did I mix that up?
Universal is the studio that distributed the Incredible Hulk
Right.
in 2008 with
Yes.
Iron Man. Or
Yes.
2009, whenever that came
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And so
Right, they thought they had a sweet deal.
They currently have the rights to distribute a
film.
Hulk titled movie.
Yeah, which is why we're getting Thor,
Which
Ragnarok.
is why Hulk is going to be the buddy to everybody.
Planet Thor.
Planet Thor.
Yeah.
So female director Patty Jenkins hasn't directed a movie in 13 years. Monster was her last film,
Which was great.
which was amazing.
How do you make a great film and Hollywood is like, good job, kid.
No, I
Good
don't
job.
know. And I don't like Charlize Theron won an Academy Award for her performance in that film.
I know. But you know what? Maybe Patty just didn't play the game. You know, she didn't play that game.
Let's not get too far into a.
I know, we
into-
can't.
into
But,
a
you know,
pulpit here,
the whole thing is very upsetting. Ooh, I bounced a lot.
But
All
there
right.
there definitely needs to be like more. Yeah, there's a fly that's been going around here. I feel like, have you ever seen the episode of Breaking Bad where they're in the lab and it's just a fly going around? I think somebody relatively famous directed that episode too. Anyway, so Wonder Woman, I was so excited about this movie after her debut in. Let's face it, the
Less than spectacular.
The less than spectacular, we'll call it that, Batman v Superman. Although I do appreciate the ultimate version of that. Have you seen the Ultimate Edition?
I have.
You have.
I have.
Does it improve the viewing experience at all? I mean, even a minute amount.
For someone who could care less about those characters, absolutely it improves the storytelling experience of that film. For someone who has loved and cherished them for the last 33 years of their life, maybe not so much.
Okay, fair enough.
Is that the most professional way I've ever answered that?
Yes, that is the most tactful response I've ever heard from you.
In regards to Batman v Superman.
Yes. Her debut in that, she's like hands down the best part of that movie.
Probably.
I mean, her involvement in that, her attitude, her interactions with Bruce, the end fight scene where she basically comes to the rescue of Batman and Superman.
My only I guess my problem is the Wonder Woman who does not belong to me. The Wonder Woman I don't really want. The Wonder Woman I once upon a time kind of thought I wanted, and I feel wrong about it, is the Wonder Woman that shows up in that movie.
Okay.
You know, she comes to the fight. She's the warrior.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in Wonder Woman the warrior. And for a little while, I kind of fell in with that line of thinking. And when I look back on it now, I like, it's a betrayal of everything I loved about the character. And now it's the only thing that hurts my viewing experience in the current Wonder Woman. You know, and I picked up. For Wonder Woman Day, I picked up George Perez Wonder Woman Volume 1 and Greg Rucka Wonder Woman Volume 1. And we need a Phil Jimenez Wonder Woman Volume 1 and 2, people. But the thing is, it's like, I'm reading George Perez's Wonder Woman and her going after Ares.
We actually have them right there. Right there. Those three are Wonder Woman comics.
There you go. The green one is the George Perez Volume 1. The one over my shoulder. Yeah.
It's like her greatest fights or something.
Is that what that one is?
Yeah, I think it's.
All right, that's not the original Greg Rucka one.
And then
the Greg Rucka Rebirth Volume 1 is there.
This is the Greg Rucka and what's her name? Nicola
Scott.
Nicola Scott.
Fabulous.
Yes.
She's fabulous.
I
love her.
She was on an episode of another show called Collider Heroes.
Yep. I bet everything was great.
She talked about she basically talked about how she got into the business and all, and I highly recommend people go check that out. She has a very inspiring story.
And we have so few women in the business and who stick with the business. You know, Devin Grayson's like, I'm done with you people. You know, like, I tried writing comics. I don't know what you want. I'm just gonna just take my leave. I mean, I don't like what she did with Nightwing, but we'll talk about that another time. When it's more appropriate, maybe when you're on my show.
We could do that.
Right. Well, we can speak freely in adult. Because it really is that kind of story. But yeah, I mean, it's a very good movie. I really like it. Like I said, my issues is Warrior Woman, Wonder Woman, and I know everyone's like, oh, but Cliff, Greeks, mythology, Amazons, come on. And I'm like, yes, I get it, but she's unique even among Amazons. The lasso of truth is everything. So I have but
are you arguing that she's not presented like that in the movie?
Enough, right? Because
you got to save something for the sequel, man.
No, I know, but I don't want that. Everyone's trying to convince me, like, no, save it, Cliff. Like, Superman had to kill Zod to learn about not killing, and I'm just like,
Adam submitted a question about Man of Steel that we'll get to at the end of the show, and we'll talk about that.
Well, we're in. What do we watch? I mean, let's do it.
We'll do that. We'll do that after the.
All right.
That. We'll part that as listener submitted questions.
Okay, we'll do that. Right. So I have that issue, and I have that issue with Wonder Woman because she has one of the titular villains of the movie by the rope, right, by the lasso, and she doesn't ask a single question, and then she kills this person. And that wounded me, and I know that just sounds absolutely crazy, but it took.
Are you talking about Ludendorff?
Yes.
Okay.
And that took a little something away from me. I mean, as it is, she clearly killed that sniper. I mean, the woman just launched herself into a building where the sniper was.
So do you have a problem with?
I have always had a problem with Superman and Wonder Woman killing, except I kind of was down with her snapping Maxwell Lord's neck at the time, and now in retrospect, I realized I was jumping on a bandwagon, and I was very wrong. Superman and Wonder Woman are so powerful, comic book wise, and I want her to be that powerful movie wise. By the way, I would love to see her fly. If she can't fly, she power leaped. At
the end of the movie, she
power leap.
Okay.
If she didn't, I need to see her fly. She was it was one of these. I need to see her fly.
I feel like she power leaped into a glide.
I need to see her fly like Superman. Because the thing, this is my rule for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
If she can't fly, give me the jet. And if you don't want to do the
the jet was in the movie.
You just couldn't see it. That's a great joke. But seriously, give me the goddamn jets.
Yes, sir.
I want to see her hop into thin air.
I honestly
and just be great.
I felt like, and maybe it's just because when I watch movies, because I used to work in the film industry, so I tend to watch movies and I see the other layers. I thought she was presented as something special enough.
Right, but
even amongst the Amazons. I felt like that was the whole unsaid thing.
No, and it's fine.
Like that everybody was
talking
talking
about. And that's the
thing.
Because this is the Wonder Woman that you need to produce for the world. Right? And not the Wonder Woman that belongs inside my head canon, my head fandom. Yeah. That Wonder Woman is the one who's always going to put the hand out first. Yeah. Right? Before it has to become a fist. Yeah. That Wonder Woman, that Superman that live inside me are the ones who are just absolutely devastated that they couldn't get through to you.
I'll tell you what though, I went back and rewatched Batman v Superman after Wonder Woman. Have you done this yet?
After Wonder Woman? I can't.
So I
don't have the strength.
I will tell you that the whole fight scene at the end is like it's so much more than it was before Wonder Woman. Like Wonder Woman adds a whole another depth to it. And it was, and I feel like and I'll save most of this for that question, but I feel like a lot of the heroes in this DCEU well, let's put it this way. Man of Steel and Wonder Woman are both origin stories.
Yes.
And Suicide Squad is to an extent origin story.
And sadly, so is Batman versus Superman.
But not for Batman.
It is. What is the first thing we see on that damn screen?
Well, yes, but what I'm saying is that let me rephrase that. It's an origin story of experience.
Yeah.
Okay, and I feel like Wonder Woman, she's so. Which, by the way, I was not, after seeing Batman v Superman. I have some slight issues with. This is an unpopular opinion, probably, but I have some slight issues with Gal Gadot as an actress. But her physicality in the role.
I'm hoping to God that this movie proved, assuage some of that.
Well, so let me complete the whole thing. So, however, her physicality as Wonder Woman more than compensates for the lack of technique, I'll say, for a better term, in her non-action sequences, and when she is fighting, she's Wonder Woman. And I will say, in general, Zack Snyder's aesthetic, the action sequences to me are the closest thing I have ever visually seen on a movie screen that represent what I read in a comic. Like he creates these visuals
I'm going to fight that on two scales, right? Scale number 1, it's always so dark with him, and that's a problem for me. Scale number 2. Okay, I'm sorry. Avengers did it first. If you're going to tell me comic book stuff literally coming to life on the screen, Avengers dropped egg after egg after egg after egg of that.
I'll agree with that, and I don't disagree that his movies are dark.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I have less of an issue with because I think it helps differentiate itself from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Which is crap. I don't need that. I just want it to be a great comic book movie.
That's fine.
Which Wonder Woman proved to do pretty well on her own.
Yes.
And without getting crazy dark until the end, which felt like it was vomited from his mouth.
From Zack Snyder's mouth?
May he be having a restful, wistful, and joyous time with his family and their emotional recuperation.
Yes. Let's say that our feelings towards Zack Snyder as a director are completely separate from our feelings towards him as a human being.
Right. Director.
We hope that he...
And human being.
Yes. We wish him nothing but
the best in life. Yes. May you never work for Warner Brothers again.
And... I hope he's healing with his family, and I hope that his family is finding the resolution that they.
And I hope he finds that he has enough money that he can retire early and spend time with his family and be happy.
Oh my gosh! But as a director, I don't disagree with what you're saying. However, just as you wouldn't mind if they're the same. I don't mind that DC is dark.
That's my problem. I don't mind that they're different. It is the fact that it's dark. And I'll tell you something that comes with the darkness.
Well, here's the thing: I don't think it being darkness is what you have a problem with.
No, it's the tone that goes with it.
It's the fact that they're not fun movies.
Right, they're not.
Batman v Superman is not an enjoyable film to watch.
At least with Man of Steel, for the love of God, he fought in daylight. Oh my goodness! Do you know what a treat it is to watch Superman fight in daylight when I watch it? Man of Steel is a better movie to me now because of how much I was angry at Batman vs Superman.
Spazzed out to Max is saying, and then there's Fox, which that's a whole nother conversation.
That is a can of worms. Well, you know what? Good for them. Okay? They gave me 2 enjoyable films. Good for them.
Only 2? What were the 2?
Oh, I'm sorry. More than 2 enjoyable films. 4 enjoyable films.
I was going to say, I can think of Deadpool, Logan, Days of Future Past.
Yep. And First Class.
Yeah.
No, you know what? You want to know why?
Let's save the Fox conversation for another
time. No, but I want to tell you why X-Men First Class makes the list, right?
Oh, okay.
X-Men First Class is unique for a comic book movie in that it actually took these mutants, these comic book characters, and allowed them to become and shape the landscape of their universe, right? Like these other characters that we see on television and movies, it's just kind of like, oh, everything is as you know it in the real world, except, they're here.
Yeah, I do appreciate, I didn't want to get into this can of worms, but I do appreciate, I'll just say this, and then we'll move on back to DC. I do appreciate in the X-Men universe that even though their philosophy is continuity schmontinuity, which I stole from John Campia, who's a film critic on Collider. I do appreciate this legacy of those films that they have. I mean, it's like comics themselves. It's like you have 900 plus issues of Action Comics or Detective Comics, and then you reboot it into New 52 and reset all the numbers, and then you realize how powerful that legacy is, and you go back to that numbering system. I feel like Fox and the X-Men franchise is that legacy in the film. Is that, they know that not everything has been perfect in every film, but they're not going to stop telling the stories within that continuity to a point where they don't mind going back and rejiggering stuff and retconning and resetting and in continuity. I appreciate that they don't say, we're just going to reboot everything again. They don't do that. They say, no, we're just going to live with our mistakes and our flaws. It's like George Lucas could take a lesson from that.
Yeah, well, if only. That poor man. If only,
it's true.
If only they had taken the page out of that with Fantastic Four.
True. Although, again, can of worms, another episode.
No, absolutely. But it's the thought. It's the thought.
Yeah. So what I mean by Zack Snyder creating comic book panels is that. And I guess it's not the tone. It's not even really the darkness. It's just the composition and how that composition flows between sequences and action. Like when Batman comes through the window when he's going in to save Clark's mother, and he comes flying in through the windows, and the glass shatters and his cape is open. If you pause that right in the middle of that, that's literally a cover from the New 52. I remember that issue. Like Batman flying through, the glasses breaking, and he's like, it's like, I'm pretty sure it was a Jim Lee cover. Like it was just, he's all dark and shadow, and I
enjoy it.
And the fights in midair with Zod and Man of Steel, like he creates this aesthetic and this energy that I personally feel is a comic book come to life. And I feel like I see you rolling your eyes over there.
Only because I take Man of Steel didn't feel like a comic book come to life so much for me, so much as it felt like episodes of Dragon Ball Z come to life. I'm sorry. I can't argue with that. I get a little mad at it because Superman has such great stuff of his own. Yeah. Why did you need to bring that thing in your head out?
Because
I guess look, he's the artist and whatever, but I'm just saying, I get to be a critic. I mean, I have loved these comic book characters since I was 7 years old. Yeah. I absolutely have to get to have my say, my opinion, but I have to control that with the fact that I got to just stop taking it so seriously. I don't own these characters. They had a beautiful impact on my life, and I still love them for that. Yeah. And I still turn back to them because of that. But I have to accept there's just different incarnations and different stuff, and people loving it. And Camille sent us a comment.
DC films are too dark, both visually and thematically. Everyone had such a boner for Nolan versus Batman. After that, everything started to get the grim and gritty filter. I completely agree with that, Camille. I think they allowed their success with the Nolanverse to inform Man of Steel. Now the part of the issue with that is that they most certainly did not plan on a DCEU with Man of Steel.
Yes, they did. Oh, yeah, they went into that plan. And
when they were in production of Man of Steel, there's no way they were thinking this was going to launch a universe.
They absolutely did. And did you also know? Listen, I know enough little people all over now to get the goods. Okay, they were certainly planning it. They actually wanted to do it with Green Lantern, and that blew up in their face and failed. Okay, so they said, okay, we gotta go back to brass tacks. We got not brass tacks. You know what I mean? We have to get back to basics. We got to do Superman.
Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie was supposed to be the start of the DC universe.
It was, and that blew up in their face. They wanted to
I don't think, here's the thing, as much as that movie isn't great,
it was not financially successful, it didn't do for them what they wanted.
I think what they should do is, in either Justice League or in Green Lantern movie, the new Green Lantern movie, I think that John, because I believe Tyrese Gibson is playing John Stewart. I believe that's been announced, and I believe Armie Hammer
is going to play Hal or Kyle.
I think, you know what, he might be playing Hal. But what I think they should
like Armie Hammer.
I think they should I think they should bring in I think they should bring in Jon Stewart and Guy Gardner, and even Kyle maybe. And then what I think is,
and allude to,
I think Ryan Reynolds should show up on Oa, and that he's out doing some other mission away from Earth.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. I didn't think he was the worst thing ever.
Cameo.
But
I think Mark Strong as Sinestro
was wonderful.
He was and I want to see him as Yellow Lantern Sinestro, as Sinestro Core Sinestro.
Yeah. I'm hoping that they figure out a way to resolve that. As far as the nature of these movies and tone, I liked Green Lantern's tone. The storytelling was kind of rough.
The poop cloud at the end was a little much.
There's so many better ways to handle that.
Absolutely.
But anyhow, it is what it is. I'm just telling you, plans were made, things happen. Man of Steel is very interesting.
So as it pertains to Wonder Woman, let's get back on the Wonder Woman thing.
Yes.
Is that I think, getting back to my original point of Gal Gadot, is that I think I will say that Patty Jenkins pulled an incredible performance out of her. And there is a lot of great things. I am very nitpicky about her performance as Gal Gadot's performance in Wonder Woman. I cannot confidently say that she is as talented as like Chris Pine or as Scarlett Johansson, but like
I'll throw her hat into the ring against Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I just
for superhero actress category. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I know Scarlett has had some other roles that I very much appreciate, and I don't know if Gal can do that range. I will tell you, she sold me where Wonder Woman needed to sell me.
I agree.
The most
I agree
beautiful
with that.
moments, the most beautiful moments of love, of compassion, of heroism. Every one of those moments on screen, she is Wonder Woman. And I mean,
with that.
I know it's gonna sound silly, but even the thing with the ice cream, to sell that,
it was
to still sell
the snow coming down.
Beautiful. Oh my God, I love that too.
Those weren't even the things. It was just these little tiny things. It was when she had one thing was when she like captured Ares' energy.
Yes.
And like had it on her arms.
How about when she put on the glasses while they were in the dress shop?
Oh, that was great. I mean,
that was great. Those small moments to me were the most amazing moments.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky, and you could.
It's easy to be
I'll
nitpicky
get hate mail,
because
and that's fine.
You know what's easy to be nitpicky is we have so much superhero content now.
That's true.
From what the last? What are we going to say? It was the last 15 years. Right? Only 15 years, a decade and a half, and we have so much superhero content. Of course, it's not easy for this essentially almost a newcomer to the scene. I mean, I feel like I'm giving her fair critiques against the critiques I gave my precious Chris Evans when he became Captain America. Yeah. But yeah, overall I enjoyed the movie. Sold on the Amazons, sold on her as Wonder Woman.
The Amazons were incredible.
Oh my God. Dude, to see Princess Buttercup.
Did you know that Hippolyta is Greek for Martha?
No, it's not.
It's just
but to see Antiope, who played by Robin Wright, who was
Princess Buttercup
in The Princess Bride. Even for me, I'm not a woman or anything. It's just the fact that I enjoyed that film so much as a kid, and all those characters, and to see her now doing a show like House of Cards, to see her as Antiope, it's just like, yeah. Is that Jacob? Yes.
Yes. I love you both, and you guys rock. Well, thank you, Jacob. Thank you.
You're an awesome guy. You rock.
Feel free to ask us any questions, or if you have a topic you want us to talk about. We're going to talk about Heroclix in a little bit, so stick around.
We should.
So to wrap up Wonder Woman, obviously it was a woo from both of us.
Oh, it's a woo.
Ready?
It's a woo with
1, 2, 3.
Woo!
Oh wow, that was.
I can handle it. It was worth it for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it was just so good. My wife too. We went. So I went and saw it Thursday night. I went and saw it Thursday night with some friends, and then my wife and I took the kids to the drive-in and watched it. And it's the first time that she's ever like said, "Here, take the kids. I want to watch this." Like she was enthralled. She loved it. I can't. And it was interesting because the first time I watched it, I had a lot of issues with it, and I was like, just little like small pacing things and whatever. And then I watched it a second time, and I realized, oh no, this is a really solid movie. This is a really solid movie, and Patty Jenkins did an amazing job, and I know she'll be signed on for the second one because she's not even signed on for the sequel yet.
I know, but they got to. I mean, come on, this is too good.
At first, I was a little upset about that, and I'm like, well, every other male director you get, but then I realized I forgot she wasn't even the original director. It was, I forget her name, but she was a director from Breaking Bad. It was another female director who was brought on and was in pre-production, and then they just disagreed about some stuff, and then they replaced her with Patty Jenkins. So she was actually like a pinch hitter.
Listen, I gotta tell you, Patty's vision of, I really love the format of Christopher Reeve, Richard Donner's Superman.
Yeah.
And that she emulated that format here without letting that tribute overtake the movie. Was really great.
Well, but it's and it's interesting because when you compare this to Marvel movies, like I feel like DC movies, they don't really focus on the villain too much, but like in this, a lot of people compare this to Marvel movies where they don't take. Where the villain isn't prominent because you want to focus on your heroes, and I feel like she did that, and that's and it worked, and it's great. It feels great. It feels a lot like Captain America: The First Avenger in all the best ways, but it feels like its own film too. It doesn't feel like it's trying to copy a lot of that stuff.
And you know what I like is that I felt like we had quality time with. Dr. Poison and
the twist, the Ares twist at the end. I unfortunately had it spoiled for me before I saw it. So throughout the whole movie, I was waiting. I kept thinking, wait, isn't that guy? Isn't that guy? And then I was like, oh, maybe he's not. And then at the end, it did it, and I was like, oh no, I was right. And so
that was a good twist for me. I was very happy.
And I appreciate. I wish we had more time with Ares. As Ares,
there's a few things I wish, but I don't want to spoil too much of that.
But other than that, I was very satisfied with the resolution of the end. I felt like the message at the end.
The message was good. I loved Etta Candy so much.
There wasn't enough Etta Candy.
No,
movie.
There was not enough sugar to pass around from that Etta.
And I thought Chris Pine was really great too. Like he was.
And look good naked, very important.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Sure. The watch joke, by the way, was amazing.
Very good.
You let that little thing tell you what to do? It's so funny.
Yeah.
And a great way to set the whole thing. Like just her, I love the fact that she felt that she was educated. Like she it wasn't like he sort of saw her as this like primitive being,
naive girl,
and then slowly he began to realize this woman's powerful. And by the time they all meet up at the camp with the chief, and before they're going to the front lines, he fully is just like, or right before she walks across no man's land, I guess, is because even then he's like, no, don't, and then she just gets up and
he's like we have to back her up. It's like we can't just let her do this and not do it. We got to do it.
All right. So to end the what did we watch? I'm gonna throw out some names of some movies and TV shows, and I just want you to woo or boo.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
All right. Ready? All right. Spider-Man: Homecoming trailers.
Woo!
Excited?
Yep.
I'm excited too. It's a woo. They're showing a lot of Tony Stark, which is fine because they want to make sure the general public knows that it's part of the Avengers. Okay. Black Panther poster and teaser.
Woo woo!
Both of them, yeah. Oh. I loved it. I am very excited.
God, Claw! We're gonna get Claw!
I am so glad that they brought him back as what seems like a meaty part of this.
Yes.
To continue his part from Age of Ultron.
Yep. And he's Black Panther's villain.
Yeah, it's great. And it feels like it's going to be that classic Black Panther conflict of Claw is trying to get, maybe working with, who does Michael B. Jordan play? Is it his brother? Is it T'Challa's brother?
I think it's his brother.
Or his cousin or something. I'm pretty sure it's a relative. It appears as though maybe they're working together to get vibranium, to make money or to do whatever, or to take over. It's very exciting. I'm very excited about it. All right. Iron Fist.
Woo.
I'm gonna have to go boo on that one.
I am not booing.
That's fine.
It's not that bad. It has to be awful to get a boo. It has to be BVS to get a boo.
Oh, I thought. Oh man, this is gonna be tough. I thought BVS was way better than Iron Fist.
And I thought it was good. I like Joy's character almost up to the end. I think the costume department for the Marvel shows is on fire. I love the way that Karen Page is dressed in the Daredevil series. I love the way that Joy Meacham was dressed for her whole series. It's bad.
These are all wonderful things if I'm watching Project Runway.
Listen,
I was watching a Marvel Netflix show. That was not a Marvel Netflix show quality.
Again, it's about our standards. I thought the show was fine. I just didn't think it was excellent. And I keep hearing from various sources of different things leading into the show. Him not having enough hours to train.
To train his acting?
His acting wasn't that bad. Okay, I'll tell you something. What I admired about the acting. He came off like the 10-year-old who went missing. And that's what I was okay with. The only problem is then Rosario Dawson had to tell us that herself.
I don't disagree that he came across as the 10-year-old, but my problem was I felt like there was the first 4 episodes of that show do not need to exist. Because
wait. If we're gonna go down that road, let's be honest. All of them, except for Daredevil season 2, all of them have a very blah opening 4 episodes.
Yes, but here's my problem: is he was doing
boom episode.
I can't believe this tangented into this, but this is my one example of his character does not do. His character does irrational things that are not realistic, and by that I mean this may even be episode 1.
You told me about it. Yeah,
with
the
where he's
flashback.
playing the Monopoly in the flashback, and then he never says that to them because they would all know that it was him.
Did I agree or not agree with you on that?
I think you agreed with
me. Right, and did we not talk about there was issues with directors behind the scene as well?
Possibly, and that makes me worried for Inhumans because the showrunner of Iron Fist is the showrunner for Inhumans.
But there's no drama going to Humans. I always heard stories of drama for Iron Fist.
Maybe it's just because I wasn't keeping up on Iron Fist.
Right. Well, here's the interesting thing. I actually had a friend who legit actually got to work on Iron Fist.
I actually have a friend who worked 2 days on Defenders as a sound utility, and
I realized how much I tap and touch you.
What's that?
I said I realize now how much I tap you and touch you.
Oh, that's fine. Did somebody say that?
Yeah. Camille said yes. Off. Haha. All of those shows start off so slow. Yes.
Hey, well, here's the thing though: is they start off slow, but it's because they're informing you to the character. I felt like Iron Fist didn't do that. It was 4 episodes of let's not let these people think he's Danny Rand. Honestly, let's extend that to create this artificial suspense or drama or whatever.
Listen, they all do this decompression bullcrap. You know it's true. It just came off poorly for him. I don't
think it came off poorly. I think it was poorly executed.
Oh, well, okay. I'll give you even that too.
Yeah, I just felt like it wasn't done right. And then the rest of the show suffered because of it.
Which is fine. It's valid. I mean,
I'm right. You're saying I'm right. All right.
And that,
let's move on to the next topic.
Not that it's bad. Why do you want to be? You could be right, but I'm not gonna boo it because I still enjoyed it. I still had a good time.
I don't want you to boo it because I'm booing.
And I had a good time with Colleen. And I there's things I enjoyed about it.
Yeah, I mean, there was one episode that I think it was episode 11 that I actually really liked when what's his friend's name that comes from
I forgot his
name. Anyway, when he shows up, I was like, oh, this is great. Like, you know what that show was missing? You know what I felt like it was missing? Flashbacks to Kunlun.
Again, budget, I'm sure, is part of that issue.
It must have. I felt like there was so many places where I was like, oh, like I literally would say, oh, now we're gonna flashback, and they're gonna. And
when he was talking about the plum wine, I would have loved that.
I felt like that show should have had flashbacks to Kunlun. Like it should have done that Arrow season 1 thing.
I definitely feel budget is clearly an issue. As it is, I also heard among all the drama of the show, apparently getting a good special effect for his fist was a huge challenge for them.
I guess, but like that doesn't have anything to do with the
But-
writing or the directing.
But it does have to do with the execution, because it's kind of like, why can't our graphics department do this, do that? And they're like, well, we're so busy working on this other stuff that's not working. And then you sit there in the editorial, show me the daily, show me this, what are we looking at? And this looks terrible, this looks terrible. And then you're like, and then it gets closer and closer to your deadline, and you want to put out a good show, and all sorts of sacrifices are made. Add in if even half of the drama is true, and maybe that's why I'm judging it the way I am. Maybe I'm judging it because I kept hearing all the stories of drama beforehand.
And they could have been. I mean, it could have been terrible, and this executive producer could have saved it to what it is now.
Yes.
And Marvel's like, and the TV department at Marvel Entertainment is like, okay, you did such a great job of rescuing Iron Fist.
Yes, here, rescue the Inhumans.
Go to Inhumans. So
so far the little bit I've seen of Inhumans, I'm very pleased.
Did you see the leaked trailer?
Yes, I did, with him teleporting into the city with Lockjaw.
Yeah.
I love that. It's enough, and hearing that that it was shot all in IMAX and it's going to have an IMAX theater debut, I'm totally down.
I'm very excited about that. I will be honest though, and granted, what I saw was a leaked trailer, so it was like all fuzzy, whatever.
Yep.
It does not look like IMAX movie quality.
Again, it's a leaked trailer. I hope it's going to be good, but I
will pause judgment until I see the full trailer.
It's still a TV show, unfortunately.
But if you're shooting in IMAX, you better hire a cinematographer that can shoot in IMAX.
I don't know if all those things go hand in hand. When you're shooting for IMAX, it doesn't mean that your ABC art department suddenly is an IMAX ready art department.
I know, but like the lighting and the
unfortunately for me, from what I saw, it still looked like an ABC show.
That's what I'm worried about.
Right. But that's not a bad thing.
This looks like an ABC family show.
Okay, let's not get carried away. It is a leaked trailer. Calm down. It's all right. It's all right.
So woo or boo on Inhumans trailer?
Oh man.
Or do you want to wait? Let's wait until the actual trailer comes out. That's a good point. That's a good point. All right. So Defenders.
Oh, woo.
Woo indeed.
Woo. Give me Sigourney Weaver. I'm in.
That trailer.
I'm so good. Listen,
it made me want to appreciate Iron Fist even just a little bit.
And I do. And you know why? Because at least they referenced a warehouse where the freaking pit is, so know we're gonna find out about the pit. I can't wait.
So a friend of mine worked 2 days on Defenders, and he is now going to be the sound utility for all of Jessica Jones season 2. So he's gonna be on set every day. Okay. Let's see. Defenders. Daredevil in general, but season 3 specifically.
I know nothing about season 3 yet.
Punisher.
I know nothing about it yet. I mean, I do know it's coming.
Punisher from Daredevil season 2.
I'm excited.
Okay.
It's a woo.
Woo. Okay.
It's a woo. Even though he's not even one of my favorite characters, but they sold it. They sold him.
Okay. Legends of Tomorrow finale.
Oh, the finale.
Or the last half of the show, like the last half of the season.
Oh, the last half of the season, woo.
Okay.
Legion of Doom, sold, enjoyed, good conclusion, tough cliffhanger ending.
I was slightly disappointed that Rip Hunter came back to the good guys.
We can't have it all, man.
I really wanted him to stay.
There's
for
only
at least
one
season.
show, and we're going to get to it. There's only one show that took all the risk this year.
Okay. Supergirl. Season 2
Woo.
of Supergirl.
Woo. Oh, season 2 altogether or season 2 finale?
Well, let's ask both questions. Season 2 altogether.
Season 2 altogether? Boo.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say.
A lot of time spent on Mon-El, and listen, I'm the first one who wants an authentic lesbian relationship, and even I was like, can we get the camera off of Alex for a minute?
I was going to say that back when we were talking about Sulu and Star Trek, I was going to say, I was going to compare the relationship on Supergirl
to an accurate,
realistic.
It's wonderful. I don't need it every single episode.
Oh,
the show is called Supergirl, not Maggie Sawyer. I know I'm a bastard, but it's so rough.
But the thing is I thought that was a great reflection of the relationship that Monel and Kara were having, and that the seeing them, you know, one side and the other, and the relationship issues.
The thing is, Supergirl didn't struggle so much with freaking relationship issues in season 1, and that's the thing with a female lead show. We know we shouldn't be this relationship. It was too much. It was too relationship-y for me, and that hurt it. That was a takeaway for me. But that doesn't mean that I didn't love a lot of things.
I thought it was the perfect level of relationship-y.
I thought it was way too much.
I thought that it was. I thought that it was. I don't know. I loved it. I thought that they.
I really liked a lot of things. It was just so. We didn't need all of it all the time. It was just. It was a lot, man. I know it's coming from me, but
because the thing I disliked about Supergirl season 1 was every week it was a world-ending event that she had to go save and like blah blah blah. But it's like every week it was that over and over again.
Even when it was Toy Drive? I mean Toy Man? I mean, that was good. That was Wynn's dad. It was
but that was one episode.
That was good.
I feel like in season 2,
great episode.
But I feel like in season 2 they stretched some of those story arcs out over multiple episodes.
And I felt like it was too much stretching.
It was like we have this issue we're dealing with. It's sort of simmering.
Yeah, Luthor's mother.
We got these interesting relationships going on, and then in the 3rd or 4th episode of this arc, now let's have the big battle or the big fight or the big conflict and save all this stuff, and it tied in with the relationships that were going on,
again,
the struggles, and
those episodes were strong, and the in between ones were rough.
I don't know.
I look every.
I give Supergirl season 2 a woo for the whole thing.
I love you, Supergirl.
All right,
the finale.
The finale.
Woo! That is a finale. All right, you do that. Okay, sacrifice. All right, heroism. Damn it! Even Clark had to turn to her and go, "I don't even know if I could have done that."
And I think that is one of the most genuine, honest moments that they've ever had between those two characters.
It was wonderful
because as a heterosexual male, I think that that's completely true. I think that in a situation like that, every time the man will be the weaker one and will do what he feels necessary to keep his most important interests safe. And the fact that they framed it that way, and then they executed it that way, and then in the end there was the acknowledgement that that's the truth. I feel like that is a metaphor for men and women in general, and the strengths and weaknesses between the two.
Do you know what I thought was cool? When I was watching the episode and he pays Kara that compliment, it cut to a commercial of Injustice 2, and I was like, because we all know how it turns out in that universe.
All right. So Supergirl. So all right. Arrow season 5 as a whole.
Woo woo woo!
I agree. This is probably this has definitely been the best season of Arrow
forever.
I don't know. Season 2 is my favorite.
Oh yeah, I think season 2 is everybody's favorite. But this season brought us back. It put me in its own magic lasso, and he fired a magic lasso arrow and roped me and pulled me back in, and I loved it. So excited.
I agree. So, Arrow season 5 finale.
Oh, hold on. That was what the third woo was for by itself. At season 5 finale, woo, 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 woo. Yeah. It was so good. It was every sacrifice, cliffhanger, crazy, diabolical villains, mega showdown.
It's the only finale out of all of them where I was like, what is gonna? How does the show continue?
I'm so freaking excited. The fact that I don't even know whose contract is up and whose isn't. I'm so happy. This season was everything I ever wanted.
It was good.
Villains, 2 villains who actually have to think about who the hell are they and what's going on. Real threats.
The reveal of Prometheus, I thought, was done very well. It was it was literally like 2 scenes before the actual reveal.
Where you're like, oh.
I was like, I know who
Me too.
it is.
Me too.
And that's perfect timing. You always want the audience to make the revelation that you're about to reveal moments before it happens. I thought that was played very well. It came out of nowhere. I didn't want it to be true because I was like, but he helped Diggle. He helped Diggle get out of prison. Why? No.
Yeah, I'm right. I felt the same way. I was like, this was going so well. What is going on?
It was just like, so, all right. Flash season 3? Are we on? Season 3. Flash season 3 as a whole.
Boo.
Flash season 3 finale.
Boo. 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 Flash season 3 finale. Boo.
I'm gonna
Flash is the biggest letdown. It's like everyone at Flash is like, people love us. Let's vote it in. And everyone at Arrow was like, we're gonna get canceled. Work, baby, work. That's what I thought was going on there.
I'm gonna give Flash season 3 a woo.
Right, but the finale.
I'm gonna give the finale a woo.
But they're weak woos.
They're not tremendous woos. You know what? I'm gonna give it a bigger woo because when I was watching it, the finale, actually the 2 episodes, the last 2 episodes, I'm gonna give it a woo because I did not see the switch coming at all.
I did.
I didn't.
At the beginning of the second to last episode,
it
was so obvious. No. Why? Notice how they brought the hologram technology back out of nowhere, right? Because they hadn't seen it in weeks.
They got me.
And not only did they bring it back, not only did they bring the hologram technology back, but it's like, oh, and the hologram technology is better than ever, Barry. Like, it was so obvious for you. You talk about you want the audience to figure it out. I figured it out.
I know. Maybe it's just my ignorance, but it paid off because I didn't see it coming, number 1. Number 2, when the episode ended and Iris died, I said, holy crap, they've got balls. And how are they going to get out of this?
Right, that's the ending I wanted. If that had been the season finale, I would have been like... because that's the kind of season finale you need. But instead, Arrow gave me that season finale. Yeah.
I don't know. And then I love the whole concept of Barry having to fight himself.
That's fun.
I appreciated that, and I thought it was done well and executed well, and I
will say he's a good enough actor to pull that crap off.
That is true because that is a difficult thing, and I thought that he did because Barry is such a wholesome character, and to see a version of him turn like that, you got to believe it, and I thought he performed that very well.
As usual, one of the better things about Flash is the actual cast more so than the damn writing.
Yeah,
you know that's another thing. They have hard and fast rules on their time travel and everything, and that's always been a problem for me. I'm not going to get into it. It gets a boo. You need to try harder next year, much harder. Because you got a producer from freaking Real Housewives of New Jersey joining Arrow and kicking butt in season 5. That woman's coming for you in season 6, okay? So all of y'all on Flash who are having a nice time, thinking you had a good rodeo, you did. It's called season 1, all right? Don't backtrack. Just give us some good stuff. Give it to us.
Okay. Logan.
What a lovely film. And I personally am not a father, but if I were, I would have cried for days.
I am a father, and that movie emotionally destroyed me.
Yep.
I cannot watch that movie ever again.
Yep.
That movie, because here's the thing.
Guess what I'm showing on my birthday?
Oh, jeez.
It's hard. This is the month my father passed away. It is really pretty rough.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. But you're right. It's absolutely rough.
A lot of the issues and themes that were gone over in that movie, I've been personally dealing with, and then I connect with Wolverine in a lot of ways. I feel like I have a bit of a temper, so I relate to Logan quite a bit. I get grumpy.
No, you don't say.
And and oh my God, it was. have enough time to spend with your kids before you die, and
can I impart all my wisdom?
Be better than your former self, and
I want you to be better off than I was.
Just all of that stuff. Just I left the theater bawling. I went home. I came through the door bawling, and my wife, I saw it by myself.
Oh my God! Oh.
Well, because it's tough with the little kids to go to the movies, so I usually have to go, and especially my wife tolerates watching superhero movies. Mm-hmm. She appreciates a lot of the Marvel ones, she gets those, and she really loved Wonder Woman, but she doesn't she doesn't want to watch all of them. She doesn't know who everyone is. She spends more of her energy on Star Trek movies and Star Trek lore than anything, which is great. So I'm fine with that. So I usually go to the movies by myself. So I came through the door bawling my eyes out. I mean, I was and she was like, she thought I ran somebody over, or the car blew up, or some catastrophic event had happened.
I just watched Logan.
I was like, I just watched Logan, and it made me cry. So it just, Jacob, if you're still in the chat, can you let me know first off if you saw Logan, and secondly, if it had as much of an impact on you as it did on me, if you did, because I would be interested to know.
I'm willing to bet that man has not seen Logan.
Oh, he probably
and
hasn't.
He will watch Logan somewhere around 2022.
2022?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how far behind.
That's how long it takes him. He takes him to watch.
Yes.
Jacob, we got to fix this. Okay.
I keep threatening, but there's only so much magic I can do. There's only so much power I possess.
All right, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh my God. You want to talk about having father issues?
By the way, so you on one hand you have Logan, on the other hand you have Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 isn't a masterpiece, of course. It's a fun ride, but my God, I'm watching that movie and I'm like, Dad, I miss you. And we didn't have enough time. Damn this movie. Damn this movie. But yeah, I very much enjoyed it. It's a woo.
It was a woo for me.
Yeah.
Big time. And I am probably, I'm in the minority of it was better than the first one. And it could have been, that simply could have been because, again, as a father, I connected with it differently than the general audience. And I thought Kurt Russell was phenomenal.
No, he was great. He was great. But again, it does fall into the whole one-dimensional plot thing.
He sells it.
Yeah, no, and
as a villain, he's probably one of the best villains Marvel has ever had.
Yeah, he did a great job. I'm only playing devil's advocate. I'm just saying I completely understand why there are people who just weren't head over heels for this. Great acting, fantastic visuals. But if we're gonna go into, was this just a great story to join, the pantheon of Marvel movie storytelling? I don't know.
It felt very much like its own movie. I don't feel like it was connecting to anything.
And that's not
like Age of Ultron.
No,
Age of Ultron felt like a spider web to the rest of the Marvel universe,
which was kind of fun.
If you tell a good story, also. I feel like it suffered. That's the story.
Great.
I feel like
it's funny. It's one of those things where it suffered, but then watching other Marvel films and then going back to it, it improves a little bit too. It's very interesting.
I should go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, right. Because I went back and I watched it. When I watched the Avengers again, after having seen Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and a couple other things, I was like, holy cow! I missed all these things they clearly planted because they didn't just add up to anything at that time. Now they add up to something. I'm like, yes, Avengers, yes.
All right, so that's a woo from both of us for Guardians.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, Black Lightning. Have you seen the Black Lightning trailer?
I did. So far it's a woo.
Yeah.
It's a gentle woo.
It's a gentle woo.
I want it to be in the Arrowverse.
I do too. I hope they Barry Allen it in somehow. I hope there's
me personally.
Multiverse.
I personally feel.
What if
they're deceiving us? That'd be great.
What if it's in the Supergirl universe?
I would so be okay with that.
I would be okay with that.
So be okay with that.
I very much want it to connect. Jacob has not seen it. And he says that sounds about right. I'm assuming he means he'll see it in 2020.
That's right.
2022.
I know what to get you for Christmas.
Yeah, a movie that will make you
That
feel
will
like
destroy
a crappy
you. Oh, and I'll also get you a copy of Guardians Volume 2.
Yay!
Best Christmas ever. Everyone cries.
I recommend watching Logan first and then watching Guardians after because it just it'll bring you out of that Logan slump.
No, it's not. Those are both two tragic movies. Don't watch them. Don't watch them, Jacob.
I don't know. I did not have the reaction. I did not have as strong a reaction to Guardians as I did. And here's the thing. I went through the emotions in Guardians, but I felt like the end came up, like the message.
He has seen Guardians 1.
Oh, good. Now go see Guardians 2
and cry.
And yeah, well, I don't know. It depends. If you
he might cry. I'm yeah.
We don't want to spoil anything for you.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but knowing what little bit of the bonding quality time that we spent, it's gonna be rough. Well, let's see. Joanna and I are about to watch Logan on your recommendation.
Oh, nice.
Cry your eyes out.
Bring some tissues.
Cry your eyes out.
Bring some tissues.
Both of you bring the tissues. It's gonna be a ride.
Jacob, it is a relentless movie, but it is a magnificent film. It is.
Okay, wait. All right, wait. We gotta dial it back a notch. Okay. As a film by itself, it's very good. I'm not gonna go higher than very good. You know, in the context of connecting with Wolverine and everything, then yes, it elevates it more. I think for people,
I think as a piece of cinema, it's spectacular.
But I don't, because it so clearly is an homage to Shane. So much so it rubs it in our face in the movie.
And how many people watching Logan do you think have seen Shane?
Other than us, clearly.
I've never seen Shane.
You've never seen Shane?
No.
I had to watch it for English class.
But because I'm a student of cinema and film, I know the references, I know the story, I know what it's all about, and how it's. I mean, there's even a Star Trek: The Next Generation episode that has references.
While we're talking
to
about movies to cry, you need to go watch Shane.
I'm not gonna watch Shane.
Oh yeah, you need to watch Shane.
I don't even like westerns.
That's the point of this movie. It ain't about it being a western. You watch Shane.
I'm not watching Shane if it's anything like Logan.
You should.
No.
Prepare yourself. Anyhow. Shane is an excellent film. Shane is a legendary piece. And if you feel Logan's a legendary piece, it's not. It's Shane that's the legendary piece. And this homage is evoking those untapped feelings in you.
Sure.
Okay. In my opinion.
All right.
Clifford Parmenter, PhD.
What do you have a PhD in?
Psychology.
Do you really?
Of course not.
Jeez. I'll start calling you the doctor.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
I have a PhD in Star Trek.
Yeah. I've got a PhD in Superman by those accounts.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, what else is coming out in the fall? Oh, let me ask you this. Let's get a little geeky here. Have you seen the Star Trek Discovery trailer?
Yes.
Okay. Woo? Boo?
Oh, woo.
Woo?
Oh, yeah.
Boo. I know.
Are you 100% sure? Are you 100% sure?
I am. It's a soft boo.
It's a soft boo.
But it's a boo.
But it looks so good. And I love her.
Hang on. Okay.
What part is killing you? First of all, which timeline does it take place in?
Okay. So here's the thing.
We don't know.
No, we do know.
It's supposed to be.
It's in the Prime universe. It's 10 years before Kirk, Spock, McCoy on the Enterprise, Star Trek TOS, 1966.
Okay.
It's 10 years before that. If you've ever seen the original pilot episode for Star Trek, the original series called The Cage,
yes,
with Captain Christopher Pike, Jeffrey Hunter playing Christopher Pike, they go to Talos 4 or whatever, the big brainiac aliens, the whole thing, the real show. It takes place in that era.
Okay.
Does it look anything like that era? Anything at all?
That's still okay. That's still
okay. Hang on, but does it at all?
No, but that's still okay. You want to know why?
Hang on. I have a slight problem with that. Okay?
I can fix that. I fix that problem for myself all the time.
How do you fix that problem for yourself?
Because in that timeline, First Contact still happened. okay? And he built a better warp engine.
But that's not...
And it carried on from there. Listen, when you watch Enterprise, there is clearly a ripple effect. Enterprise has encounters that Archer should never have had the timeline not been messed with.
But they retcon it in such a way that they don't document them properly, so you can go on thinking, oh, there's no record of this. So the first time...
Right, but even still, that Enterprise ship was more capable than it should have been. There is a ripple effect from
I like
encounter.
that theory that first contact going back in time caused the ripple effect that caused
Right,
Enterprise.
because in other time travel episodes, they did say you have to be careful when you make that time jump, the ripple effect goes both ways. In history, there's other episodes where they talked about this. So I have been a fan, and there are other fans who follow that theory of it's just that ripple effect.
Okay. That's not official though, and that's what I have a problem with.
I know, but maybe they'll make it official in the series.
So here's the thing.
Actually, Voyager made it a little bit official.
Voyager?
Yes.
How did Voyager also made Warp 10 turns you into a giant salamander official?
Oh God, let's not. Look, Voyager's far
You
from
want to have
perfect.
some fun with Star Trek? Go watch one of the worst Star Trek episodes ever. It's
is
called
horrible.
Threshold.
It's
Star Trek
so
Voyager.
bad. It's so
terrible.
bad. It is really terrible. And it happens to her and to Paris.
No, it happens to Paris, and then Paris is so horny that he has to turn her into a salamander to have sex with her
Right, so
and
they
have
have
little
little-
salamander babies that they just leave on a planet.
I know, right? When you
And then they magically reverse it at the end.
for them.
Yes.
And then what do you even think those things are going to grow into?
I swear to God, they're going to take over the Federation in 300 years. They're
Wouldn't
going
that
to
be
destroy the
Wouldn't that be
Federation.
a great freaking series?
It's just
I tap
whatever.
it so
Anyway,
much.
so my first problem is that there appears to be zero tonality, or I mean, I don't know what the word is, but there's nothing visually connecting it to that time frame. Like they couldn't even take like when you watch Star Trek 2009, that's a TOS era movie that looks modern, but when you watch it, you're like, oh, this is the same. This is comparable to this.
Nope, not in my eyes. It looks way too modern.
Yellow shirts,
No.
blue shirts, red shirts.
Right, but that's the costume tonality.
Right, but like when you visually watch it, you're like,
No,
you're
I'm distracted by the visuals. Like, kid you not. And I made my peace with it. With the same theory. It is a new timeline with its own ripple effect, and I've made my peace for myself.
So here anyway, my problem is that there, and let me preface this by saying it is a very minor problem. This problem.
Okay, so what's your big problem with it?
So
that you
my
would
big
dare
problem
to give it a boo.
is I've watched the trailer 7 times in hopes that, like Wonder Woman, I have issues with it the first time I watch it. If I watch it again, I see it in a new light with new experience, and I more clearly see the quality of the film or the product. That has not happened. I think the acting and the writing and I just don't think it looks well executed at all.
And I think from that little trailer, I just is not enough.
I don't disagree that that's a possibility, and we could watch the show, and I could be like, "Oh my God, I was so wrong."
I hope so.
I hope so too, because I don't want.
Angela has so much gravitas as an actress.
I'm very excited about the casting,
Yeah.
and about the diversity on the show,
Yep.
and about all of that. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about the structure that the main character is not the captain. She's a lieutenant commander. She's the first officer of the Discovery. I'm very excited about that. In the trailer, it's clearly evident that the captain of the so we don't even see the Discovery in the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, we see the
Which
Shenzhou.
which I like. I like.
I love
that
it.
sense of
I
mystery.
love this idea. The only thing that so it's clear that I forget what her name is, Captain Yo.
Yeah. I think.
Or maybe that's her the actress's last name, but that I think it's Michelle Yeoh is her name, is the actress.
Oh, Michelle Yeoh's so great though.
She's gonna die.
Oh, probably.
She's gonna die. The Shenzhou's gonna be destroyed. And I think what's gonna happen is they're setting up that the captain wants to promote Burnham, the main character, Michael Burnham, to a command of her own. The Shenzhou gets destroyed. In the process, Burnham acts unbecoming of a commanding officer. either the Discovery rescues them or any remaining crew is then transferred to the new ship, the Discovery, under the new captain who's played by Isaacs. Anyway, who's a great actor. He's in a bunch of stuff. He's great. And the major conflict, the overarching conflict is going to be that she thinks she should be in command and she's not. And I'm very excited about if that's the premise.
It feels that way from what I've seen.
I'm very excited about that.
You know, especially because she's also shown to be very heroic as well.
I just don't think that and here's the other thing is they're hinting at the fact that she is a human being possibly raised on Vulcan. Mm-hmm. Okay, which I'm excited about that too. Which
makes sense because we have there's in all Star Trek histories there's a history of that. Like it wasn't entirely unusual that Spock's father married a human. They have a thing about cultural.
Well, he was the ambassador to Earth,
right? So right.
So he he says was that in Star Trek 2009? He says, I only thought it was, blah, blah, blah.
I was just, I was fulfilling a duty.
Yeah. So, or he says, it's only logical that I marry a human.
Yeah, he goes, but no, it's not true. I loved your mother.
Yeah. So, and Sarek's in this show. He's in the trailer.
That's cool. Right. So I'm saying he is.
And he's like a mentor to Michael.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about the what's on paper, but what I saw, it just didn't like.
I know, but I mean, this is like me clinging so hard to what I love about Wonder Woman. It hurts some of my enjoyment of Wonder Woman.
But I'm not basing this on anything that's come before it. I just look at the trailer and I'm just like, this does not look like a quality show.
Well, I mean, it's CBS All Access. Here we go.
It honestly looks, but they put so much money into this.
Then it better be good.
They have dumped a ton of money.
Maybe it's going to look amazing.
Don't even get me started about
streaming.
the Klingons. Don't even get me started about the Klingons. Did you see the Klingons in this trailer?
I thought they looked like Klingons. Maybe they looked a little too Klingon-y.
They look like mermaid Klingons, like mer Klingons.
Okay.
Now, supposedly, this all takes place on the edge of Federation space.
Yeah.
So it's possible that this is a sect of Klingons, it's blah, blah, blah. But
right, because the Klingons have a weird history on their looks.
It's like which is somewhat explained in Enterprise.
Yes, it is. And a little bit explained in Deep Space Nine.
True. Yeah. And so, what I'm hoping, here's what I'm hoping. So with all that said, I'm hoping that, because this looks very J.J. Abrams Star Trek, which I don't have a problem with, except that it's been said that it's in the Prime timeline. So if you're in the Prime timeline, why not take more cues from that universe? And in other words, this is your baseline down here. This is what was done in the 60s.
Maybe.
Now modernize it. Instead, it looks like they're saying, oh, well, this is what was done here in JJ's universe. Let's just move that over here.
Maybe it's a lack of knowledge on the crew.
Brian Fuller worked on Star Trek Voyager. He created the show. He wrote the pilot.
Okay, maybe.
He did leave the show.
Maybe we're going to get some explanations.
He did leave the show. So here's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this aesthetic is all the first episode, and then the ship blows up, and they're all transferred to the Discovery, and the Discovery is the brand new ship in the fleet, and it looks more towards that era. It can still be modern. I want it to be modern. I want the show to look quality.
If not, can you easily forgive that so long as we get quality storytelling?
Absolutely.
Okay, then that's
quality storytelling is all I ever want from anything.
Then that's it. That's what we're going to get.
I mean, that's why, as a diehard Star Trek fan, I don't hate Star Trek 2009. Mm-hmm. I don't hate Star Trek Beyond, because those two movies are quality storytelling. Star Trek Into Darkness has some issues, but they are quality storytelling.
And boy, the people end up loving that one.
It is quality storytelling, and I will. It's not even about forgiveness. I will just go on. I'll go on with the show. I'll see the show, and I'll be like, "Oh, this is good. I like this. I'll keep watching it. I'm gonna watch it anyway. I'm a freaking Star Trek fan. I know you. I'm gonna pay the $6 a month.
I can't wait till it's all over, and you're like, I can't believe I spent $6 a month on this garbage.
It's too true. So that brings me to,
and then when you go, and I'm gonna pay another $6 a month for season 2.
It's fine. So brings me to the next one. Did you see the trailer for the Orville?
The Orville. Yes, with Seth MacFarlane. Yes.
Woo or boo?
Oh, woo.
Okay.
Right, because that looks like
So
good
now
parody.
here's my problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna boo it, aren't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm wooing this big time.
Oh, okay, good.
And here, my problem is Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, it looks better than Discovery.
Yes,
but
this is my problem.
Isn't? Well, you know what's really sad is he put some of his own money into it because he's rich.
Well, the other thing is, do you know who's directing the episodes of The Orville?
No.
Jonathan Frakes. Who
No!
played Commander Riker. Yeah. Now you're so excited.
And who directed good episodes of Star Trek
and movies. First Contact. He directed.
Yes.
He directed First Contact. Okay, Jonathan Frakes is directing The Orville. Okay, episodes of The Orville.
I'm done.
Okay?
I'm
all right?
done.
Okay, no.
There's
Robert Duncan McNeil, who played Tom Paris on Voyager,
Don't even.
who executive produced and directed on Chuck, which is a
Yes.
fantastic show.
Yes.
He's directing episodes.
Oh my god.
And there's one more guy who was a producer on The Next Generation,
And also,
who has also directed an episode of The Orville.
oh, we're done.
It
We're
is.
done.
This show is literally Galaxy Quest meets Next Generation.
That's so great.
And I am so
And
excited.
Divorce Court.
I
I
love Adrienne Palicki. I love her so much. I'm so pissed that they took her out of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
to get a spin-off that they canceled.
I know. I would have watched that show.
I would have.
They were the two best characters on the show.
And I thought, oh, you made a mistake. Bring them back.
No.
But not now. Especially if the Orville takes off. Forget it.
I will tell you the whole... And the thing is, Seth MacFarlane has said that the trailer that they showed is not indicative of the tone of the show. That, yeah, you're going to have this Seth MacFarlane humor. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I love about Seth MacFarlane humor that people don't really get in his live action stuff is that the humor is presented that he is the oddball. Mm-hmm. Everything that's around him is this, like A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yes.
I love that movie. It's so hysterical because everything around him is serious West, but he is not. And it's that interaction between, it's that conversation of his reaction, his almost like in hindsight reaction to the West, of interacting with it in real time is where the humor comes from and the genius of it. And it's the same thing in the Orville, is that he is not the first choice. What's his name even says it? Dr. Stein, even Professor Stein says it in the trailer. He's like, you're not our first choice, but we have 3,000 ships. We got to man them. You're getting a command. You know. So first off, you realize he's not the cream of the crop. He's no James Tiberius Kirk. Okay. He's no Riker. You know. He's nobody. He's not even a Commodore Decker from the original series. Who, you know, I don't know. Anyway. That's a deep cut.
That's too severe. I mean, he did make captain, for God's sake, so it can't be
He made
awful.
Commodore. He was one step up.
No. I mean, this guy made captain.
Yeah.
Right, so it can't be that awful. He's just not a first choice.
I don't think he's the captain before that conversation.
Okay, but even still.
Yeah. Anyway,
even if I had to go through a list of 100 men and I passed up 12 first before I got to you, right?
Yeah.
Then, like, you can't be that awful. You probably were an excellent engineersman.
Sure. So the thing that I'm loving about this is like I think he's saying that it's going to take a more serious tone with the humor. So I think it's literally going to be Galaxy Quest like TNG.
We are way out of our league here. But we got to make it happen.
It's and like I my concern is that my concern is that it's going to be better than Discovery.
That's good. Yeah.
And Discovery. Look, they can be their own things. Discovery can be, serious sci-fi and charging dramatic story, just like Star Trek has always been, with a little bit of fun involved, and sexiness, because there's always been sexiness in Star Trek. And the Orville can be, the bright TNG Galaxy Quest-ish thing, and that's fine. They can exist together at the same time and both be successful and popular. And I'm hoping they both will be, because I want to watch both of them forever. I'm just concerned that I really loved the Galaxy Quest, the Orville trailer, and I didn't like the Discovery trailer.
Me too. I had a great time with both.
So, all right.
I'm like, one is going to be a really great serious show, and the other one's going to be a really great comedy.
True. We are running out of time.
Honey, we ran out of time an hour
so
and a half ago.
let's skip our normal segment, which is
we're going to talk some Heroclix.
Which is So we'll make Heroclix bigger part of the show next time.
We'll have to
I think.
open with it, in fairness.
Yeah, we'll open with it. We'll pick it up from there.
Play before read.
Let's talk. Let's take one question. Thought bubbles. This will be our end segment for the show. Thought bubbles. So let's take one question from Adam, who wrote in, and he said, or maybe we'll take a couple questions from Adam, because
let's see how well we answer those questions.
yeah. Well, he sent in a couple. There's one specifically that we've sort of been dancing around.
It's called Man of Steel.
It is. So he said. So let me see. Oh, here we go. This is a good easy one. And it's Heroclix related. So he asks. Adam says, if you were to win World Championship of Heroclix, you get to create a figure. So he said, what figure would you create and why?
There's so many that were created that I like. And that, that I'm excited. Like, once upon a time, if you ask me what do I do with Worlds, I'm creating Green Lantern Monel.
Yep.
And then we got Green Lantern Monel.
Yep. Same thing with me. My answer was Crypto.
Yeah, Crypto's great. Crypto's definitely one that was in my mind.
Crypto, so.
Red Lantern Supergirl, and then we got Red Lantern Supergirl.
Mm-hmm. If they could let me go outside of the box, outside of comics.
It's unlikely.
Well, not outside of comics, but I mean, this character has been in comics, but not in the traditional sense. He comes from an animated show. I would love a Gizmo Duck Heroclix.
Oh, that one. Oh, Marvel. Maybe.
Disney, Marvel, DuckTales is getting a reboot.
Maybe.
I'm just saying, I would love a Gizmo Duck. Gizmo Duck, by the way, is my favorite superhero of all time.
That's hilarious. There are a lot of Legionnaires that I would love.
I'm trying to think of somebody if I had to stay within Marvel, DC, even Ninja Turtles, Transformers. I'd love to do Transformers Heroclix. That'd be amazing.
But I mean, I'm thinking I'm stuck on Marvel and DC.
So Marvel and DC, I
feel like it has to be somebody worth it. Someone we haven't gotten at all.
The recent years they've been doing a lot of great minor characters.
No, they really have. But I want somebody who I feel would be interesting and unique, and certainly hasn't been clicked. Oh man, there's a bunch of Legion of supervillains who haven't been clicked.
Ooh, a villain.
So there's two that come to mind, and then I would probably go with Legion of supervillains, and it would be I think it's Sun Lord or Sun Emperor, maybe Sun Lord, and obviously Sun Boy's more sinister. Another one is Dr. Regulus, who's very much I almost feel like we got him, but maybe we didn't. It's just in my mind.
It sounds familiar, but I don't think we've got.
But I feel like he's actually a Legion villain, but specifically tied to Sunboy's origin, and that I would go crazy, obscure, certainly a powerful villain if he played the Legion quite a bit. I feel like the best of the Legion villains we get, the Fatal Five, Darkseid. Can I think of a Marvel person I'd really want to put out there? I feel like Marvel really has so many.
The one character, actually, again, I keep going outside of Marvel DC. The Mask.
Yeah, there you go.
He was a comic book character before he became the movie. I would love. I actually create. He's one of the only. Characters that I've ever done a fake clicks of.
Okay.
Done a whole dial of. But in universe, I would probably see. Who I'd love to see is a really good. Have they done Jimmy Olsen? They just
yes,
did
they
Jimmy
did.
Olsen,
With the Turtle Boy click and everything.
Yeah. Man, they've done almost everybody like that I know of.
I mean, one that we have not seen yet, but hopefully we'll see soon. Lana Lang, Superwoman.
Oh yeah.
So
actually, I always go to these crazy outside things. Like, I would love an amalgam comic set from when they did the DC Marvel
we've talked about
crossover.
this. I know. I'm sure it's gonna be a nightmare.
Dark Claw. I mean, I'm pretty sure I told. I talked to Justin Zirin, the president of WizKids, and we were talking about actually, we were talking about why they can't print a Team Abilities card with both sets of Team Abilities, and it's simply because they can't do Marvel and DC stuff together. It's period. That's what they can't. And then my follow up was, well, I guess we'll never see an amalgam set, and he said, nope.
Yeah.
So it's just licensing. It's probably Marvel. They're just so big, and Disney's so big. They're just so controlling, which is fine. I mean,
dude, long ago, that the two companies already butted heads. Okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the newer, more powerful elements. What else have we got?
Okay, so we'll end with this question.
I want to know what both of them are.
Well, one of them's about, he wants to know where the Fantastic Four went and what happened.
Oh, please. So basically, that guy at Marvel who's like their CEO or something, that D-bag, like, got a bone up his butt over Marvel and Fox and Fantastic Four, and he stormed around the office screaming, "Tear down these posters," and that's it. Like, that's the stupid story.
I don't know if that's...
We don't even know if that's true. But you know
here's
what?
The thing.
I'm so...
He has a history of being way too frugal with money. Two known instances are... I think it's money. He doesn't want to give money to Fox, number one. Number two, he did not want to pay for Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War.
Right, they had to go around him for that.
Kevin Feige had to go to... Alan Horn? No, not Alan Horn. The other.
I can't remember his name. But
anyway,
I know what you're talking
the CEO of Disney, or I always get Alan Horn and the other guy mixed up.
Whoever the CEO at Disney, we can't remember his name.
So he had to go around him, and then because of that argument, is why they took Kevin Feige out from under Perlmutter and put him under the CEO of Disney directly, and hence why the connective tissue between the TV shows and the movies only goes one way, in that the TV shows recognize the movies, but the movies don't recognize the TV shows.
And actually, I hear that's a three-way fight, but different question for another time. What's this last one?
But I do hear that may be softening, and that it is a possibility that we'll be seeing TV characters in Infinity War. So the last one was, did Man of Steel start the DC universe properly?
You know what's sad? I might actually say yes to this. Because despite my issues with it, it certainly showed us Luthor Corp. It showed us Wayne Corp. It was all background stuff. It set the stage of the level of threat that some sort of Justice League may have to face. I mean, because the Kryptonians are kind of badass. In that one area of question, yes, more harm than good.
More good than harm.
I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying the other way. Right, more good than harm. More good than harm. Ooh, who knew I had it in me?
All right. So here's... I still argue that they did not expect...
I will go... person to person, Comic-Con to Comic-Con, and record answers.
That's fine. That's fine. Your knowledge seems to be pushing me more in the direction that it was a thought, but I just feel like there was so much time between. If that was the truth, then they had nothing planned after.
No, they didn't.
Man of Steel.
They very much wanted to gauge the success. The thing is, Man of Steel.
Yeah, I just why would you do that if you're like, okay, this is going to set up our universe, but we're not going to think about the next step at all.
Well, no, they were thinking about the next step, and the original plan was to go right to Man of Steel 2, right? And basically, it's like
Man. And then everybody saw I Am Legend, and saw that stupid sign of the Superman symbol inside the Batman symbol, and some executive got it in his idea, we should actually make that movie. Like what? Like, tell me that's not what happened.
There's an ounce of truth in that story.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
that just.
But that certainly isn't the whole truth or anything.
Right.
But there is a sprinkle of that element in the grander story. So I've been told. Again, the things I hear at shows, man. The things I hear at shows are mind blowing. And probably things I shouldn't even repeat, which is why I never really talk about who told me what. Or sometimes I'll share something with an artist. I'll be like, "Hey, that's really interesting." I was like, "Do you know I was at so and so's house and like I saw him with pieces that he finished for other artists."
Yeah.
And he's a little bitter about it. And they're like, "No, that can't be true." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, maybe it's not true." I'm like, "But I saw it." All right, I think that's we got everything.
So I just want to say, in regards to the DCEU, that I honestly believe that I think that with the success of Wonder Woman,
We're at the 3-hour mark,
and
we have 5 watchers. I love you all for sticking with us.
You guys are amazing. I can't believe that you're all still with us. I honestly believe that. That with the reaction to Batman v Superman, the success of Wonder Woman, and the fact that that DC has made an enjoyable movie to watch, a feel-good movie focusing on the hero. It's not as dark as the other films, and it's uplifting. I feel like that success, they'll now react to that because they're a very reactionary company. With the unfortunate / fortunate issues with Joss Whedon now taking over Justice League.
I'm sure if they need
doing
a softer
rewrites,
tone.
Joss Whedon was actually brought on to do rewrites for the reshoots before Zack Snyder decided to leave.
Right.
And now he's taking over and he's doing that, and he's also supposedly, barring the success of Justice League, that's apparently Justice League needs to succeed before they announce what's next.
Yeah.
Like Aquaman is the only other movie that's going to be finished.
Yeah.
Unless.
Well, you know what I desperately want, right? They straight up have hired The Rock, and yet we have no idea if Black Adam or Shazam is coming at all.
I think Black Adam is going to be the villain of Man of Steel 2.
Which is really funny.
It's weird.
I
think they should just say, you know what? He's not playing.
Unless they use that movie to introduce Billy Batson.
Right, and I think that's what it's going to do. Is it's going to set up a Shazam movie.
And it would forcibly give Superman a lighter tone.
Yes. Here's the thing. I think they should just say, you know what? He's not playing Black Adam. He's not playing Shazam. He's playing Lobo. And then bring in Lobo, bring in the main man.
For Lobo,
get the DC cosmic universe going.
And listen, I hear you, but him, no, he is living Black Adam. I love it. Is giving it to the gods for me.
Man.
I want Lobo.
Who else would play Lobo?
I want someone more. I want someone who's more there. Look, remember, I think people just obsess on these huge figures, and it's not about huge figures. They have huge power. They don't have to be the biggest person. But for Lobo, it needs to be powerful physicality. Yeah. So I want. What's really weird? It would be weirdly weird if I said that I think Matt Damon could pull off Lobo.
That's weird.
It is weird, but I'm not, if you think about it, I'm not entirely wrong. Think of his body in that last Jason Bourne movie.
I didn't see it.
Okay, then we'll just table that thought. What other kind of physicality, who else can I think of who has that physicality?
Anyway, my general point is that
half the cast of Teen
I
Wolf.
think that the direction that the DCU is heading, I think that in the end, once it is successful, because I honestly believe it's going to be successful, and we're going to see a Justice League 2, we're going to see Cyborg and the Teen Titans, we're going to see all that stuff, okay?
I dream!
I think that we're going to look back at the films in a row, and we're going to see this flow. And we're going to see Wonder Woman's movie, in the timeline, look chronologically, like I do sometimes with the Marvel Universe, okay? and you look at Wonder Woman, and it's like, oh, she wants to go out and defend mankind because she believes that they're good and that's what she was built for. She goes out, she destroys Ares, she saves mankind during World War I.
And just like, boy, are they flawed.
And then, holy crap, it turns out that they suck. And World War II happens, and we digress. Everything funnels down into this abysmal state. Man of Steel 2, Man of Steel is Clark, which I love Man of Steel. I actually think it's a very, I like it as a Superman movie.
I want to tell you, when I first saw it, I liked it, but something weighed on me. And then the second time I saw it, I realized I cannot reconcile this Superman and the Kent upbringing that's represented here, and it's so very much doesn't work for me.
My whole thing is that because Jonathan wasn't there, he never got to finish bringing him up. He was Superman for one freaking day.
I know, but everyone keeps going on about that.
But it's the truth.
I
it's
know, but
world.
I know, but it's affecting that world because it's control. You know, I made it that way because that's the way I want. Because I have this very specific image agenda that I want. I want my Dragon Ball Z monkey Superman, and that's I'm so sorry. You know, I would have told so much more of a tender story. I would listen if I had to fight about Superman killing. I had to give something up, I would have given up on killing and letting him kill, but I would have sold the Kent's values on human life hard in the center of that film. So all the things that we presume as an audience when Superman has to kill Zod are no longer something that we have to presume. It is something that we are much more gutturally aware of when it takes place. That's where I'm coming from. That's what I want.
I see that he had. I don't like the situation that they were in, and then he feels like snapping his neck is the only option. Yeah. But I understand that that's what's presented to me. So it's presented to me that the only option to save those people is to snap Zod's neck, and he's the only one who can do it.
Yep.
And he has to do it. And so he has to sacrifice the values that he has in order to save those people. But
yet, I am not sold on those values because Jonathan Kent says, I don't know, maybe you should have let them drown. And listen, there's an argument I have over and over and over with people, and that one's really, really hard for me. Clark, the school bus, Jonathan. It's
that's
just
true. I don't know why he says that.
Right, and it hurts. It hurts that development.
But I think that informs the struggle that Clark has.
It informs it, but it informs it in the wrong way for me.
I can understand that.
Versus
and the thing is, though, is that then pick up at Batman v Superman, and he just keeps trying to do good, and it keeps failing in front of it. It keeps blowing up in his face, literally.
With all those powers, and he couldn't save a single person in that committee.
The thing is I feel like we're gonna see this arc throughout the DCEU, and we're gonna see that the death of Superman is the lowest point in that chronology, in that timeline.
I hope so.
That everything goes up from there, and that's why the formation of the Justice League happens. That's why everything has to get lighter and lighter. And I feel like it's because here's the thing: is that you have to have a journey in a story, right?
Listen, I get it, but the thing is,
they're just starting at the worst possible time,
right? It's so.
But it's going to get better.
I know but such bad. Remember, I said earlier, I'm just with the decompression, right? That's what it is to me. It's like you're telling me I got to endure this horrible decompression movie thing, and I can't.
We have some recommendations for Lobo.
Okay.
Danny McBride.
Oh.
Spaz says Danny McBride.
Okay.
I mean, his face, yeah.
Tom Hardy.
He's got to work out.
From
Tom
Jacob.
Hardy.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree with Tom Hardy.
Boo.
A lot of people have said he should play Wolverine after, as a reboot.
But you know what? Lobo
Tom Hardy as Lobo is, I'm sold. Jacob,
you won it, man.
I think we should end the show on that note.
Yes, we should.
Thank you, Cliff. It's been
Thank
a pleasure.
you.
Thank you guys for sticking around. The shows should be shorter from here on out.
When
This
we
is just
learn
a
what we're
test run.
doing.
Yeah.
Watch. Next time it'll only be 2 hours.
Hey, as long as there's a progression down towards 45 minutes to an hour. That's all I care about. Thank you guys very much for watching. Again, this has been Read, Watch, Play. I'm Tony Cox. This is Cliff Parmenter. And we'll see you guys next time. Tweet us. Leave comments on the video. And share with your friends. Let people know about the show. We're trying to get this thing off the ground and launched. Tweet. Yes, tweets. The tweets. The tweets. The tweets. All right. You guys have a good night or day or lunch or tea time. And
We only have 5 watchers. Have a good evening.
we'll catch you.